Some of you want more, 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 more. All right. Well, I'm still going. It's Sunday for me. It's Sunday for my co-host because we're in Australia, if you can see behind me, but we're showing up and so are you. So firstly, I want to say I appreciate all of you for showing up, especially the 5-day stayers. Now, day one, what did you learn? You learned what NEPQ really is, which stands for Neuro Emotional Persuasion Questions. You learned what the old method of sales is, the old era, the one that triggers sales resistance versus the new era that works more with human behavior. Now, day two, what did we cover? On day two, we showed you a framework on how you can get your prospects to overcome their own objections. Who here really enjoyed day two? Drop a day two in the chat. Day two, we went through the think about it objection. Want to run it by my spouse, my business partner. I just want to pray on it. We don't have the budget for this. Send me a proposal. Now's not the right time. I didn't realize it was going to be that expensive. I want to sleep on it. Day two was awesome. Day three, what did we cover? We walked through specific questions that you're using now, which is triggering sales resistance from your prospect. You don't want to be triggering sales resistance, but unfortunately for a lot of you, because of the script and the questions you've been forced to use, you're triggering resistance from the first 4 seconds of your sales interactions. So day three was all about how we can ask better questions that works with human behavior to drop your prospect's guard. Who here enjoyed day three? Robert did, Deb did, Andrew, David, Virginia, Alejandro. Day four. Now, day four was my favorite. Day four, you got to see NEPQ live in action. You got to hear from our clients that are currently using NEPQ, how it helped them, but you got to see a live call and a live role play in action. Now, for the keyboard warriors out there, the ones that were commenting, I would like to see you be able to do that. All right. We still love you, but being put on the spot, guys, and doing a live role play, which was not pre-planned, and getting objections thrown at you, it just really shows the power of NEPQ once you learn that. Now, I want to have a disclaimer. Caden and Jacob weren't born with those questioning abilities. They didn't know those questions to ask. They definitely didn't have that tonality before they came in and learned NEPQ. So day four is a true testament of what's possible once you learn the right structure. So today is day five. What day five is all about is we're going to be walking through the script and we're going to give you an example of every phase of NEPQ so you can see it in action and ask questions. Today is about you guys. It's not about me. It's not about Jeremy. It's not about anybody else here. Today is training. We're going to go for the next 2 hours. Like I said, I'm here on a Sunday. My co-host who I'm about to introduce is here on a Sunday, but we're here for you guys. So if you're ready for day five, drop a hashtag day five in the chat below, and we're about to kick off. Now, I want to introduce someone very special who you already met if you're in VIP. Do you have any VIP people still with us? Any VIPers still here? Good on you guys. So I want to introduce someone that I'm excited to actually be doing a session with. If you've ever been on a masterclass with me and Marco Cortesi, then you know exactly what today is going to bring. So make sure you're here for the next 2 hours. So Marco Cortesi, who's going to come live in just 30 seconds, he started out as a client nearly 3 to 4 years ago. Me and Marco actually worked together on an offer a little under 4 years ago. In that time, we've become really, really close. Marco started out, doing door-to-door back in the day. He's from Italy. He was born in Italy, then came to Australia. He's done door-to-door selling vacuum cleaners, selling ADSL, moving into fitness sales, moving into the high-ticket coaching space, then transitioning into B2B sales. In 2019, he was one of a few people that generated and earned $1 million in straight commissioned. That's straight commission without any sort of base. So $1 million straight. He then came into 7th level, and now I can happily say he has just been appointed. So everyone give him a round of applause, give him some emojis. He has just been appointed the CEO of 7th level. So without any further ado, Marco Cortesi, are you there?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Marco?
Thanks for the intro. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to this session. We got something prepared for you guys, which I think is going to be amazing, right? And today, guys, is all about training, right? So before we start and everything, I want to make sure that you have a notepad in front of you on the right, all right? If you're right-handed, if you're on the left, if you're left-handed, right? And the most important things we are going to do is we're going to try to go through as many industries that we can possibly do. All right. So when you write in the chat, not right now, but after where we are going through the script, I want you to write the modality which you sell, which is outbound, inbound, door knocking, cold calling, right? One of those four. And the other one is the industry. So we can help you to understand and build the script. Okay. Anthony, back to you, brother.
All right. So let us know down below in the chat, what do you sell as well? Because we're going to be going through specific examples today. We're going to pull up a script and we're going to walk through step by step what you've learned over the past 4 days. Who here wants us to cover that? Because we don't have to. We could do something else. Yes? Yes? All right. So we're not just going to show you the scripting, but what me and Marco really want you to walk away today with is more confidence, more clarity, and more conviction. My goal for you is for you to walk away from this session today, especially you 5-day stayers, and I want you to be able to go into a sales call come tomorrow, come Monday, maybe right after this session, and just use something that you've learned that would
Yeah.
work for you. I remember the first time me attending one of these challenges. This would have been 4 years ago now, or nearly 4 years ago. I remember coming to one of these challenges, and I remember walking away from one of the days, which I believe it was day 2, where it was either day 2 or day 3, Marco, where we went through the objection handling framework. Now I walked away from that. The next week, I remember using just some of the little nuggets, like the real crumbs that Jeremy went through in that challenge. And I remember it helped me close that week alone. I had 12 sales calls scheduled. I closed 10 out of 12 deals in that week alone. And a lot of those sales, not all of them, because I was still doing good at the time, but I remember specifically, I reckon it was 4 sales calls I specifically used something that Jeremy had went through. And I said, wow, I just closed 4 deals that I wouldn't have because I used something. So that's what we want from you. So please, distractions off. We're teaching today. For the next 2 hours, we're teaching. We're going to be training you guys. So if you're here, just let us know you're committed, and we're just going to keep going till we answer all of your questions. So I'm just going through the chat right now, Marco. Let's have a look at what industries we have here. I've got B2B, people doing outbound calling, capital equipment to manufacturing industry, financial planning, cold calling B2B, cold calling, health coverage. There's a lot of cold callers in the house. A lot of people doing outbound as well. Dean Lumia is selling personal training, weight loss.
Yeah, I saw the ton of those.
Marco, you came from the fitness space. Why don't you give us a bit of a background on, I guess, your evolution in sales? Because I know
Yeah.
you've sold a lot of things. You sold door to door. You've sold inbound leads, outbound leads. I know you've done cold calling, and I
Yeah.
also know you've done big B2B deals. So just give us a walkthrough of your previous
Yeah.
and how kind of NEPQ or how sales had to evolve throughout the different industries.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a long story short. So I started selling when I was 15 years old. I'm 31, so I've been doing sales for 16 years. I haven't done anything else. Because when I first came in Australia, I took a detour on working in a restaurant, washing dishes, but put that aside, right? Um, Now, when I first started selling, my first job was selling ADSL, was internet at that time. It was door knocking. So my first approach to sales was door knocking. After I sold vacuums, from that I've done cold calling for 3 years, which I've done pretty well. I love cold calling. I really, really do. Um, and from there, I started working in fitness where I made roughly 30 to 40K a month. And of course, guys, my results, and I put the disclaimer here, doesn't mean that your results. My level of activity is different than what you can put on, right? Um, of course, you guys can do way more, way less, up to you. The other one that I done from that was inbound, outbound, which is more like on the educations, right? And that's where I started working with Jeremy. And after I started selling B2C and B2B. Now, the main things that I would like to explain today, before even we start going to the script, is to understand, Anthony, we can go through it, the difference between door knocking and cold calling, which is a cold approach, and inbound and outbound. Should we go through that?
Yeah, I think we should. And I want to say this as well, because over the past few days, I saw a lot of comments. I was monitoring the chat. What about my industry? What about my industry? What about my industry? Now, the good thing about NEPQ is when you have a framework, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, because NEPQ takes away having to sell based on product knowledge. Used to be the way I sell, Marco. You will remember this. It was very heavily, I used to sell to private practice owners. I sold quite a few different industries, but where I started was selling to people in the medical space. Now, I was doing good, but I had to use a lot of product knowledge and I had to use a lot of their language. And then what that causes is your sales cycle to just expand. It's combat, it's fight or flight, a lot of objections, and a lot of people that say, hey, it all sounds great, but I just want to think about it. And I learned this a long time ago. Who here gets a think about it objection quite often, by the way? Just let me know down below. Think about it. Does anyone get the think about it objection? The think about it objection, for the most part, is caused when you give your prospect too much to think about. So if your sales cycle is really long, and we're going to be walking through today what the optimal time frame should be on certain calls, you're giving your prospects too much to think about because you're going through too many features and benefits that, quite frankly, they do not care about. They just don't care. Who do they care about? They care about themselves and the problems they have and the problems that they want to solve. So that's what we want to walk through today. So, Marco, let's start with the door knocking approach. Any door-to-door people in the house?
Okay, perfect. So I am gonna share my screen, right? And I am gonna explain. And Anthony, since it's a bigger screen, let me know if you can see it, right? And let me know if it's big enough. Right. So for us to master sales today, we gotta understand first what's the modality that you do in sales, right? There's a couple of modality in sales. The first one is called the cold approach, right? So what the cold approach is, and guys, I speak Italian as my first language, and English as a second. So understand that not everything that I'm going to write is going to be perfect, but you're going to learn a ton. Okay. So the cold approach is primarily cold calling and door knocking. Okay. And we're going to call it, for the moment, door to door, which is D2D. So when we are going to go through the script after, what I want you guys to do, if you're in cold calling, write cold calling in your industry and door to door in your industry. The other one, there's a warm approach, right? So the warm approach is inbound and outbound. Now, why is warm rather than being cold, right? Is because what changes in between the cold and outbound and inbound is the intent that the prospect of the leads have. I explain. Someone that cold calls or someone that does door to door, the other person on the other side doesn't know that you're coming with something or hasn't requested anything. When they're in the inbound of an outbound process, the difference is they know that they need something because they've done some sort of action. All right. So what I'm going to be doing here, up here, I'm going to put what's the difference is the intent. All right. So what's the intent of a cold call? The intent of a cold call is to find a problem because they don't have it, right? They don't know you if you really think about it. Is any cold caller here? Anthony, just throw me a niche and I'll give you an example.
Let us know what niche you're in. Cold calling for advertising space on the radio.
Advertising space for, yeah, they don't, so for example, they don't know that they need advertising space for them to get more leads. So finding the problem will be how many leads you're getting right now, what are you using for advertising, and is it profitable for you, right? So the idea of cold approach is finding a problem, right? The idea of warm approach, which is inbound and outbound, is to do what? Is to expand a problem. Why? Because if let's say if you download a guide on how to get better at sales, the reason why you do that is because you know you're not good at sales, right? Or either you download, if you push on an ads for insurance, looking for an insurance policy, you know that you need protection, right? Now, those are the biggest two things that people go like cold approach and warm approach is find a problem or expand the problem. Now, after you have the type of industry, right, which is B2C, 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 B2B, which I'm going to write here, type of industry, right, which is it's not really what you guys sell as the insurance, SaaS, or for example, I don't know, education, but it's more likely B2B, B2C, B2G. Is there anything else, Anthony? I think it's pretty much all of it.
And B2G, business to government, for those asking. We train all of those
Train all of that. Yeah.
modalities.
Yeah. So why I'm teaching you this part? Because you need to understand that someone that goes straight to consumer has a different sales process than someone that has B2B. Why? Because B2B is multiple steps. Why there is multiple steps? Because it's the decision-making process that is different. Okay? So when someone say, "Oh, I'm in B2B and it takes me 6 years to close a deal, 1 year to close a deal," the biggest things is your decision, the sales process that you have need to master the decision-making process of your avatar. Can you expand on that a second, Anthony? In the meantime, all right?
Yeah, exactly right. So it doesn't matter what modality you're selling or what you're selling to, the biggest thing is what we talk about, and we've been covering the past few days, is it's your prospects need to know what the pain is. That's why your questions need to trigger curiosity and doubt into either what they have right now or what they're not using. Someone's doing cold calling, selling roofing, or door knocking, selling roofing. It's how can you make an approach and have someone curious enough to listen to what you want to say without you coming across salesy. Where the thing is, people are more aware these days. So the unfortunate thing is, if you're using the same approach as everybody else out there, it's just going to trigger resistance, which is why Jeremy talks about when he was selling door-to-door, security and alarm systems, whilst everybody else was putting on a shirt and a tie with a name badge and coming on, standing right in front of the door this feet away, he realized if he wore the high-vis vest, if he had the tape measure clipped to his pants, and if he had a board with a pen, and then when he knocks, he stands a few feet back and is looking around, it's a pattern interrupt. So you've got to match like the modality. You're not going to do that on a warm approach. If someone booked an appointment, you're not going to knock on the door and say, "Are you guys the homeowners here?" It's different. So we're going a bit granular today. Who here wants us to go this granular, by the way? Because we really want you to understand the concept, and then this will make all sense when we go through the script and we connect it all together.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing, guys. Our mission as a company is change the way how people perceive sales. I don't care if you buy or not, but I want to teach you everything that I can possibly can today. So if we gotta stay longer, because we gotta cover a couple of more niches, it's fine. I just want everybody to write things down and to ask questions, right? I really don't care. If you buy, don't buy, I give you something at the end as well, which is a follow-up script to making sure that you are on pace with everything. I just want to make sure that you learn. Okay, so when we refer to our industry, which is insurance, fitness, solar, whatever, what that does allow us to understand is if we are trying to find a problem, expand that problem, is what do we sell to people, right? If you're in solar, you don't really just sell in solar. Would you agree with that, Anthony?
Exactly right.
What you're selling is a change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So for you to understand clearly what you're selling, it allows you to drive your script where you want to go. For example, if you're in fitness, you're not selling the equipment of the gym. You're selling them to they change to going from thinking like someone is out of shape to thinking like someone is in shape. You're solving a problem. And as soon as you understand that, is when in your mind, the perception of sales changes, because you're not jumping in there trying to convince them that the equipment that you have are different to the another equipment or another gym, for example, but it's to give them the idea to challenge them or why they haven't done it before. So you are selling the change. You are selling them to think how they are to what they should be in base of what they want to go. Make sense? Say yes in the chat so I can understand it. So this is the pre-step before the script. So at least we get somewhere. Is anyone has any question? Please write, well, I got a question. And we stop right here because I want to make sure we got 1,000 people. I want to make sure that everybody understands it. Okay, Andrew say yes, but it's easier than done. Okay, Andrew, Balint or Mesa, can you pull Andrew with us? And we're gonna make sure that Andrew comes in, he asks his question. Nobody's gonna move if all 1,000 people here don't move on the same train. All right, someone get me Andrew on, please. Andrew Zell. Anthony?
All right, give me a second.
Right, we got it.
He's
Andrew.
here. Unmute yourself, Andrew.
Hi there. I'm
How
kind
you
of
doing?
new to all this, so
Fine, it's
but
fine. I just want to
I
help. What's the easiest said than done? Like, what's the part that you feel is a little bit difficult?
I think I've always struggled with kind of overthinking a lot of stuff, right? And there's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff out there, right? So I've tried to learn a lot of things over the years. So now I think my mind is just kind of scattered and kind of confused as to kind of putting everything into like I understand I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
But then it's just harder to implement it because I overthink everything,
of course,
right?
and
So that if that makes sense.
yeah, it does, right? Remember this. This is really important. This is my advice to you today, in hope that you can understand sales. A lot of sales trainers out there, they have their own methodology and they have their own approach to it. That doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. That works for them. It really works for them, right? Now, our methodology is around human behavior psychology. Can it work for you? Can it not work for you? That's up to you, or whatever you resonate the most. So when you take informations, always check, is this in alignment with what I am and who I am? Because in the end, you are the one that does the sales. Like, for example,
Right.
for me, I love asking questions. I really do, because I'm a curious person. So when Jeremy first, and I got coached by Jeremy, by the way, when Jeremy first teach me the methodology, he really was in alignment with some of the things that I did, also because I wanted to study psychology and stuff. So it made a lot of sense to me. So that's one thing that I want you to learn, right? The second thing is remember that every time that as a salesperson, right, you go and do a call, you go and do to the door knock, or you do an inbound and an outbound, you're always fearful. All of us here are fearful, right? As each one of us has different level to fear. Some of us is really, really small, some of us is really high, right? But not being confused and not overthink what we do allows us to be confident. So if I'm confident that I have a structure going into the call, my level of fear will drop. Now, if you're not confident and you tend to overthink, for example, which is not your case, I'm just saying to everybody, remember there's 1,000 people here, right? If I'm not confident and I tend to overthink, now what the prospect does on the other side, it picks up to my cues. So it will be skeptical, and it will understand that I'm thinking so much that what I'm selling might not be what I'm saying that is going to come out of my mouth. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, you're basically passing off your beliefs onto them, right? Now it's coming through on them. So
like, but if you read anything about sales and psychology, there's a transfer of energy, right? And the first one is they are in the middle of making a decision. When you are in the middle of making a decision, you need to seek confidence on the other side. Because I'm not going to tell you, hey, jump out of an airplane with a parachute, but hey, I don't know if it's going to open. You're going to go like, what do you mean? What's the say, right? But if I'm confident, like, oh, I've done this 1,000 times and it's never happened, the parachute doesn't open. You're like, okay, why I gotta be number 1001 and it doesn't open? You see, it's the difference, it's the confidence. We're both pretty fearful because we're about to jump off a plane with a parachute, and there might be a chance it doesn't open, but it's not gonna happen. So that's the
Right.
idea of it.
If I may say one other thing too, I've
Of
noticed
course.
with myself, when I overthink something, it's hard to actually get going on it. But I've noticed that when I want to find something out for myself, I end up asking all the right questions. I can ask all that because I'm not thinking too much about it. But when I'm trying to think about it, talking to someone I don't know and trying to sell something to them, I overthink it, right? So
Exactly.
that's
Let me
yeah.
show you
So
this, Andrew. Let me show you this, okay? So in the diagram that I just show you, right? The reason why we built a methodology that works for all industry is because it's all around the intent. It's finding a problem or expand the problem. You see, both of them are nothing to do with you, but it's more to do with the person in front of you. Because if you jump in thinking about too much of what you have to do rather than just doing one thing, which is find the problem, on you, your level of stress will be way lower because then you don't have to go and find multiple things. It's one thing you gotta go and find is the problem, and it's nothing to do with you. So it's the concept that I think you heard from the last 4 days on not assuming the sale. I don't want you to assume the sale, and I don't want you to tell them that what you have clearly helps them because that puts a lot of pressure on you because you're saying that, for example, and I'm not saying you, right, but I say it's common that people call a prospect and say, "Oh, we definitely have what you need, and I want to talk about it with you." By doing that, you have a lot of responsibility because you are doing it by not knowing nothing of the person that you go in front of you, and that's where the fear starts. Because every single thing you're gonna say about your product that doesn't match them, since you don't know nothing about them because you haven't asked them a question, it will fall apart. Absolutely fall apart. Does that make sense?
right, and I think I see what you're saying too, is because I think a lot of the times subconsciously we may not think about it, but we're too attached to the sale, right?
Exactly
Like
right.
people have said. But when I'm not attached to the sale and I'm just trying to find out information for something that I want, it's easy to ask those questions, right? So I've got to try to, when I do sales, disconnect from the outcome, so it's easier to ask the questions too, right? So
Exactly right. You know a lot of and after this, Andrew, I'm gonna let you jump off and we're gonna start going back into the script, right? But you know a lot of when you go on YouTube and you type sales training, you have a lot of motivational, like, yeah, go there, knock $1,000, do that, millions of calls, and you're gonna make your money. Well, in reality, when I used to do that, and it's my own experience, doesn't mean that works or doesn't. When I used to do that, it's even worse because if I'm unconfident and I'm gonna do it for 1,000 times, my day is terrible, right?
right,
So
right,
and my self confidence would get destroyed. Now, the idea being is to be precise, is to be a skillful person. And how you do that is by understanding one thing, which is like, I'm not there for me. Even if I don't knock, right? I'm not there for me. I'm there for find an issue that they might have. I'm not quite sure. And that's why I'm there. Does that make sense?
right. That makes sense. You're completely disconnecting from the sale itself, and you're just focusing on finding out if they have a problem to begin with that you can help them with, right?
Yeah.
That's all you're trying to do.
And once you know that, then you do 1,000 calls, then you do 1,000 door knobs. But if you don't fix that part, and that's why we're starting with this, is because there is not a school in sales. You don't go to school, right? So everyone is supposed to know how to start a call. And that's what I'm teaching you is, well, you need to start a call in a way where you regain confidence, but the confidence is to knowing what you're doing, is not confidence just in what you do in you showing up and proud and being motivated. That's nothing to do with that.
Right,
You have to
right. That
first
makes
start.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
All right, perfect. Do we help you out, Andrew? Is it more easy than done?
I think so. Yeah, it's just I got to work on it a bit more. So
It's
it's
fine. So,
yeah,
let's do this. Stay on, right, with us. And as we go along, and if you have any question, you're gonna speak for the audience. That means the audience is gonna say, Andrew, listen, ask this question to those guys so we can focus on it. All right. Or anything that you tell me that doesn't make sense to me, we'll stop and we'll respond. Okay. Are you keen to do that?
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm good for that. So
All right, fantastic. All right, Anthony, go back to share the screen and let's go to the script.
All right, let's do it. So we're pulling up an NPQ generic script. Now, disclaimer, this is a generic script. You're going to have to listen to us over the next 2 hours because we're going to be going through specific ways of saying it and tonality to say it. So what I don't want people to do is grab this script all of a sudden tomorrow, start using it. Your sales will go down because you don't know how to use it. And we got to make it specific to your industry. Now, in our virtual training, platforms, obviously we train and we adjust it for the industry. But just disclaimer, what I don't want people doing, it's really important, grab the script and try it without actually understanding it. So we're going to help you try to understand it as much as you can in the next couple of hours. Should we start from the top, Marco?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do this. So first thing we're going to start with is the problem statement. You only use this for cold calling. We review a lot of calls, and people that are new to NPQ maybe have seen Jeremy's videos online, and they try to use some of the things they've heard, and some people use the problem statement for inbound book calls. You don't want to do that because remember, the intent is already high, so you don't need to do that. All right, so the problem statement is, so ring is blank there. Hey, name, this is just my name. I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment. All right, so pause. I'm not using the tonality just yet. I'm just walking through the scripting. Marco, why are we starting the call like this? Why are we starting the call saying, I was wondering if you could help me out for a moment?
Yeah, the most important thing is you need to install an intent. So, Andrew, remember before what I told you, it's easier going in for them rather than going in for the sell because of expectations, right? So when you start, you tell them, I was just wondering if you could help me out for a moment. So that creates for them to come to you for help. Now, let's pick one niche and let's do it for one niche. So who here does cold calling and put your niche close to it in the chat and we'll go do it. And we'll do it. Cold calling, prestige, real estate. You gotta give us a little bit more on that. Are you looking for houses or are you trying to get a listing? Solar. Okay, solar is easy. Go ahead, Anthony. So for solar, if you're cold calling and door knocking, when you are at the door, really important is your physiology. Stay in, half out. Hey, is this you don't know the name, for example, right? Hey, are you the homeowner? Pause there, right? That would be the part on the start. I was just wondering if you could help me out for a moment. All right, that's a part when you store the intent, and after you create familiarity, which is like we have some of your neighbor down the road is on the other block. Maggie, that one that she has the Labrador. Now, the main reason why I stopped today, if to see if you're open to look at any possible hidden gaps in your electricity bill that is causing you to have your rates increase month after month. Pause. Okay, let me redo it. All right. So the first thing is you can't say, hey, it's there because you're not on the phone if you do a solar, but what you do is fairly easy. You tell them, hey, are you the homeowner? Because you need to understand who you're talking to. All right. So that's the first. I was just wondering if you could help me out for a moment. So what you're telling them is installing the intent. Can you help me? And they will go like, okay, sure. Remember that you're not staring in front of the door, you're half in, half out. So you show them that you're moving. So what they think you are is you lost, right? But that allows you to say the second frame, which is, well, I'm not quite sure you could yet. I stopped to see if your family will be open to look at any possible hidden gaps in your electricity bill that could be causing you to overpay on your bills. Now, the reason why I don't say solar, right, is because if you say solar, they slam the door on you. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to recognize that you're just not the salesperson. But this one is what we use primarily to explain what? To try to find a problem. You remember what I told you before? They don't know they have a problem. So possibly the gaps in your electricity bill or in the way how you manage your electricity that could be causing you to overpay on your bills. So they start thinking, am I being overpaying on the bills? So you're not giving them a problem, you are make them think about a problem. am I being overpaying for the bills? And he helps our neighbor all right. Here, so you're buying time. You buy that time for them to listen to you. Anthony?
Exactly right. It's so what we're trying to evoke here is confusion on the front end on a cold approach. Because if you're confused, people would want to help you. Now, especially with solar, and we've got specific solar training with solar coaches, Joseph Robury, which some of you would have seen in some of the videos Jeremy shared yesterday. So when we script this out, it needs to be very like create the enemy, for example. So this is what we train, and we go very nuanced, especially for an industry like solar. So we would say something on the door like, well, would it be a crazy idea for you to be able to own your own power and not have to be forced to, pay all the rate hikes like they've been forcing you to pay? So what are we doing there when we say, well, would it be a crazy idea for like homeowners in the area to be able to like own their own power? Would that be a crazy idea? Like, why are we saying that? Because we're starting to create the enemy. Who's the enemy when you're selling solar? The enemy is going to be the power companies. So when we start seeding doubt onto what they're currently paying and is there a new way of doing things, they're going to start coming with us a lot more from the front. But if you go up to the door and say, hey, my name is Anthony, we're in the area because we're actually selling solar. Do you guys have solar? Immediately trigger sales resistance, for example, for solar. All right. So we got to start building up. And this is very specific for solar, like I said. Just out of curiosity, like what have they been forcing you to pay these days? I know it's probably not that high here, but what are those companies like forcing you to pay at the moment? Oh, XYZ. That seems fairly high. Like that could be trouble for you guys. So we're going to start adding words and adding language that seeds doubt, not just come in flat monotone. Does that make sense? Put a me in the chat. Now, like I said, we're going to try to go as granular as we can today and get through the entire script and pick out certain industries. Yes. All right.
For example, I just saw someone in the chat say, cold calling, do you guys just do door knocking? And I was like, no. You just need to change the modality of it, right? But you're saying the same thing, exactly the same thing. And if you want more explanation, just let me know. You can jump on with us and we'll give you more explanation. Go ahead, Anthony. Keep going.
All right. Now, let's move down. If they say, what's this all about? Or if they're in your face, doesn't matter if you're cold calling, and this even works. If you're outbound calling, if you're taking an inbound lead, you're still going to get certain prospects saying, yeah, I just like, what's this all about? Or what is it you guys do? Or yeah, I just clicked on an ad. Like tell me more about it. Does anybody get that at a start of a conversation, whether it's cold or whether it's warm? Some of you will get that. You will particularly get that from A-type personalities. Alpha type personalities. Yes. All right. So what you want to do is you want to diffuse. So if you've got someone coming on quite hot in a sales conversation, we need to diffuse them. And the way we diffuse them is we show them that our intent is not there to sell them. Your prospect can see your intent in one of two ways. You're either there to help them or you're there to sell them. How do you feel you will get a better response if your intent is to help or sell? If they perceive your intent. And here's the thing. A lot of people would say, but I'm there and I want to help my prospects. I don't want to sell them. It doesn't matter what you think your intent is. What matters is what? What matters is what the prospect feels your intent is. Really, really important. So intent. Marco, you talk a bit about the perception intent.
Yeah, I'll get there in a minute. Now, the most important thing is Jason say, hey, Marco, if you don't knock and they say in the middle, is this solar? So I'm not quite sure we can help you out. So I'm not quite sure if you need it. You see, you're not telling them yes. You say, well, I'm not quite sure it could help you out. So what that does is release the stress, because Jason, remember what I said before, what you're trying to avoid is to say solar. Because if you say solar, they slam the door on you, right? So you want to use it in your advantage, right? Saying like, well, it could help you, I don't know. That's why I'm here. I just wanted to see if it can help you. All right, perfect. Yeah. All right, Anthony.
I'll give another walkthrough there, Marco, because a lot of people are saying solar. So here's another specific example of where we would go more in depth and more nuanced with a solar approach. So let me do a kind of a quick role play. So get to the door. This is more door, cold approach door to door. So Marco, maybe just role play with me a sec on the fly.
For solar.
Solar, yeah, yeah. I'll be the salesperson. You be the homeowner, the disgruntled homeowner.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, what's
Okay.
up? Yeah.
So, hey, how's it going? I'm just Anthony. I can't stay long. I apologize, but I was wondering if you could possibly help me out for a moment.
Yeah, man. What's it all about? Like,
Are you guys like selling the place at all, or what's going on over here?
well, not at the moment, but
Okay. Just to cut to the chase with you, the state changed some of the laws around how power is produced. So, they decided to stop sending people out offering solar panels and instead just offer the electricity they produce so you don't have to be at the mercy of the power companies anymore. What do you think, though? Would it be a crazy idea for homeowners to be able to own their own power so they're not at the mercy of these power companies?
that's how I've been doing it since the start. So
Yeah, and that's not uncommon, and most people are. And listen, I don't know enough about your situation to know if they could even help you yet. I should probably ask, like, how long have you lived in your home, like being at the mercy of the companies, though?
I mean, since we bought first, we bought the house, right? Since the start.
And how long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking?
We bought it 2 years ago. So
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that'd be able to help. How old's your roof? Just so I understand.
we haven't changed it since the start, so it's 2 years. Yeah.
2 years, yeah. And as I said, I'm not here to bug you about like buying panels or anything. Like if that made sense, you probably would have had them already. The reason why we're here is just to see like what's the main reason you chose the company you're with now at XYZ, electricity.
Yeah, I mean, when you move in, that's what you get, right? So we
Yeah.
haven't really changed anything. So
Yeah, and when SRP raises your cost of electricity, like do you have a choice when that happens?
nah, not really. I haven't really pay attention either. So
Yeah, that could be trouble. All right, pause there.
yeah.
So that's more of a specific, tailored script for solar specifically. So what you're going to notice, it veers a bit off of the generic example, but that just goes to show when there's a specific example, let's say solar, you're going to have to use different approaches, and we adjust NPQ to that. So all my solar people out there, let me know what you think in the chat box below. Does that give you a better idea on how the script, the generic script, can then be tailored and adapted specific to an industry like solar?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
also,
yes. Okay.
also one thing is I saw someone in the chat talking about the disclaimers for the FTC, right? And he put down a list, which is pretty good. So when we built this one, you also have to understand that we go through a series of approval, right? Because we're a corporation. And the most important part for that is you're telling them who you are, right? It's just so you're telling them the name of the company, right? And you tell them the intent because you tell them, I'm not quite sure I can help you. And I stop by to see any possibility and gaps in that and that. So you are telling them that. It's the way you're doing it is different. Yeah, I totally get you. But it's like, it's more likely that you're saying more here and you tell them that you can't help them out or either you're possibly looking to help them out rather than tell them, yes, I can definitely do that. That's way more compliant. All right.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Let's pick another niche, right? So I see a lot of and it's completely random, right? Advertising appointments for roofing. Can someone get Jacob on the panel, please? Thank you.
just unmute yourself, Jacob, once you're up.
Can't see Jacob. If you want to come on, Jacob. Otherwise, we keep going on the script. Huh? All right. Let's keep going in the meantime. Jacob comes. Go ahead, Anthony.
All right, let's keep going. So then we're going to move into the personalized intro. So remember, we're aiming to diffuse. If somebody gets all hot, say, "Oh, I apologize if I offended you." Like what I do is, how, and then you go into your personalized intro. So if someone comes onto your call, inbound, outbound, door to door, and they're coming on, what is it you do? Like, what's this all about? Like, just tell me what it is you do. We just diffuse. I apologize if I offended you. What I do is, well, you know how a lot of companies, well, let's do a solar example. You know how a lot of people right now are kind of getting frustrated with all the rate hikes those, electrical companies are forcing you to pay? Well, what we do is we help people like that, rather than have to be at the mercy of the power companies. We help them transition their power into renting to actually own their own power, so they don't have to just keep raising the rates whenever they want and you just have to comply with them. But does that even resonate? Like, maybe they haven't even been raising your rates,
Yes.
for example, solar specific. Now, I'll use another example. I don't just want to use solar. We've got a lot of different niches. Someone said fitness before. Well, I apologize, Marco, if I offended you. Well, really, like, what I do is, you know how there's a lot of people out there that, I guess, new year, new me, they want to get back into prioritizing their health. But every time they go to the gym, they just kind of wing the exercises they're doing. And after a few months, they just kind of get tired and lose motivation because they're not seeing any results. Prospect will respond, yes. I would say, well, what we do is, rather than them just rocking up to the gym and relying on chance that they're doing the exercises right, we actually design and craft a specific method that allows them to lose the weight they want to lose in a shorter time period, because they're able to focus on the areas that they need to focus on regarding health and nutrition. But does that even resonate with what you're trying to achieve with your health goals this year in 2024? Another specific example. Now, I have never sold solar. I have never sold fitness. I'm just plugging in the method with specific niches.
Yes. And what I want everybody to do, for example, I saw a lot of people going home improvement, right? So possible hidden gaps, it's trying to fill up the gaps, right? So what's the possible hidden gap of what you sell for home improvement? It's anything they're trying to improve, right? So if they say they inquire to you, they have a kitchen, right? Or they want to remodel a kitchen. Ask them, like, what is it you're looking for out of remodeling a kitchen? It's like, oh, we want, right now it's getting the mold and everything. So for that type of niches, we're getting that into a second because it's inbound and outbound. There's one question that actually I really want to answer because I'm reading the chat. Someone that we say often that could be trouble. What's the psychology behind it? It's very simple. Remember what I told you before. It's about make them aware of a problem, right? So if they say something that hints towards the problem, then what you say, oh, that could be trouble, right? So you magnify their feelings around what they just say. That's primarily the psychology behind it. All right, perfect. Anthony, so that's the cold calling and the door knocking on the start. Should we do it the inbound and outbound for everybody that does inbound and outbound?
Let's do it. Let's do the inbound and the outbound. All right. So let's move down here. So we're going to move into connecting questions. Now, inbound meaning someone has either landed on your calendar. Depends how everybody explains inbound versus outbound. There's different verbiage out there. So inbound can mean someone that books a call on your calendar. It can also mean an inbound lead that some of you will call inbound leads that you have to call. So you have to outbound call the leads. So we're going to walk through a couple of examples. The first example, let's do someone booked on your calendar. If we have people that get book calls here. Does anybody here get book calls on the calendar? Say yes and let me know what industry you're in. Booked calls on the calendar. Someone books in on your calendar. Okay, a few of you. Now, the biggest thing with a book call, it's a different frame at the start. The reason it's a different frame is the intent is a lot different. They've booked a time with you. So immediately they're on your time and you want to use that to your advantage. Okay. And this gives you the ability to sound more detached as well. So the way we'll do that is following this. Let me pick a niche. I'll go through the script first. So, hey, name, this is just Anthony here with XYZ. It looks like you recently booked on my calendar about possibly insert what they said they wanted when they came through. And I'm just getting back to you now to see if we could help, right? That's if you're outbound calling the lead, that booked on the calendar, and you're speeding it up. Now, let's say, for example, Marco, I am selling, let's do life insurance. Do we have any people selling health insurance, life insurance?
Yes.
We do? Yes, Michael is, Sandra, Jason, Avon. All right. So Marco, we're on Zoom, or let's just do good old phone call. So ring ring, Marco, you're gonna answer saying hello.
Yep. Hello.
Hi, is that Marco?
Yep.
Hi, Marco. It's just Anthony here with XYZ Insurance. It looks like you recently scheduled this time on my calendar to speak about possibly getting your family protected if something were to happen to you. Is that right?
Yeah.
I should start by asking, since you filled out your application online about getting some possible protection, did you find what you were looking for, or are you still wanting to go through all the options?
I'm still looking. I'm going through different type of options. So
Okay, and just so I understand, do you know specifically what it is you're looking for when it comes to actually protecting the family?
yeah, I'm trying to find like a cheap cover, something that can cover me and my family. So
All right, pause. All right, did everybody notice the difference in framing?
mm,
What did I say at the start? Hi, is that Marco? Hey, Marco, it looks like you scheduled this time on my calendar to speak to me about possibly getting some help with protecting your family when something happens to you. Now, what did I not do? Who noticed it? If you've been paying attention for my 5 day stayers, what did I not do when I called Marco? What was the one question I did not ask that every salesperson that uses? Thank you. Michael got it. Yep, Michael, Brandy, correct. Adam, you're correct. How are you?
yeah.
Why am I not saying how are you? Why am I not saying that? Because they do not care, and they know I don't care about how they are. Now, some of you right now are saying, "Oh, but Anthony, but Marco, I really care about my prospects. I really care about how their day is going." Doesn't matter. Keep
Yeah.
that internal, because even you may care, the prospect doesn't feel like you do care. So cut the small talk. Get straight into it. If you walk into a doctor's office, the doctor is getting straight to it. The doctor's busy. Their time is valuable. You walk in, "Hi, Anthony, take a seat. How can I help?"
hmm
Make sense? Put a
Yeah.
yes in the chat if that makes sense.
One thing I want to say also as well. See, Thomas say, hey, they don't seem to touch on outdoor. No, we're getting there. Just time, guys. There is like 1,000 people. We're going through everything. We're gonna get there. Don't worry about it. All right.
Still love you guys.
All right. All right. One thing is I want to show as well, Anthony, after this for insurance specifically, is all the leads, right? Because this one is an inbound. There's sometimes for insurance, the inbound part is not really kind of like, let's say, you can get it right more for annuities, but not really, for the final expenses part. So if you open and share your screen, and I'm gonna share my screen for the outbound. All right, so that's actually cadence script. Oh God. All right. So when he calls all the leads, say, hey, Anthony, yeah, this is just cadence. It just had a second to go back to you. I'm just licensed with the state. I received a request you put in about possibly looking at whatever, right? Were you looking for anything specific or just wanted to look over all the options? So that's like for an old leads. Now, as you see, his intro is different, right? As the leads is older. So if I said really old leads, it will say, I just had a second to get back to you. I probably already got quite a few phone calls about this. For whatever reason, it doesn't look like things got updated in the system. It looks like you put in some info about possibly getting looking at life insurance. Were you looking for anything specific or just wanted to look over the options? You see? So, for example, I saw someone else in the chat before when it's like a rebuttal, right? Well, it is not because you're telling me you probably got already quite a few phone calls for whatever reason. It doesn't look like you got updated in the system, but it looks like you put in some info about possibly looking at life insurance. And then you ask them, right? You ask them, were you looking for anything specific or just wanted to look over all the options? You give them the range. Go ahead and
Yeah, and really important for those that are selling life insurance. Yesterday, Caden did a full walkthrough of that. That exact script we just pulled up, we did a full run through of that. Those saying enlarge the screen, guys, if you go to the top of your Zoom, press view options. If you're on a Mac, you can just zoom, pinch, and zoom on the screen, and it will zoom. Otherwise, up top, you can do the other one. All right, let's get back to the script and let's continue. Who's finding this helpful so far, guys? Just let us know. Me and Marco are watching the chat, so we thrive off your responses. If we feel like there's not you guys aren't getting value out of this, we'll switch it up. So if we're boring you to death, just please let us know. All right, I think they're liking it, Marco.
There you go.
Okay, let's keep going. So, all right, so we went through this one. Now, if you're calling an outbound lead, right? So you're calling someone that inquired. Who here either run ads, lead magnets, someone fills out an application online and you've got to respond back to them. So like, for example, someone that I think someone said before, they're in the roofing space or home improvement, any of those people in the house where people are like registering online for a quote. I do roofing. They're going online for a quote or something of that sort. Yep. All right. Let me do a quick role play on the fly. Once again, I've never sold roofing. I've never sold home improvement. But let me do a quick role play. So, Marco, can you just be my prospect again, please?
Of course I can. Go ahead.
Grazie. All right. So, Marco, the situation is you are on my website or you're on my Facebook ad, and you're inquiring about a new roof, and I'm just calling you. That's all really I have, just bare details. So, ring, ring.
I gotta give you an hard time. Someone is asking to me to give you an hard time, Anthony. So there you go.
Of course you do.
So you know, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. Is that Marco?
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, Marco. It's just Anthony with XYZ Roofing. I just saw your inquiry come through our website about 5 minutes ago about
Yeah, man, but like, sorry, I just put it through, but I was just looking, I was just browsing along. I'm not really interested to it, so.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm calling, because it looks like you wanted some information about getting a possible new roof. Now, I'm not even sure if you would need one, but just so I understand, what had you possibly looking at getting your roof replaced in the first place, just to see if I could even help?
Well, I don't really know if I want my roof replaced. I was looking online, so I don't want to purchase anything, right?
Yeah, that's not uncommon, and fortunately for you, unless you actually need a new roof, it wouldn't make sense for you to purchase a new roof in the first place. And just so I understand it, I've only got a few minutes between my next appointment. Is there anything like you've noticed that maybe has caused you to feel like you may need to even look at seeing if you need a new roof, just to see if I could help?
Yeah, we had some issue a couple of days ago, but I mean, nothing that we can't. Sorry.
Some issues? What do you mean specifically?
Yeah, so some of the leaks from the roof. I'm going to we got a new wall that we painted a couple of days ago, but we realized that the leakage is going through, so we have to keep changing the wall. But as I told you before,
that could be that could be trouble. Now with the roof, because some people, with certain leaks, we may be able to just plug the leak, or there may be something else that maybe a plumber could just fix. How old's the roof, just to see if you'd even need someone to come out and look at it?
Yeah, we moved in the house 4 years ago, and we haven't changed it since. So.
And was it a brand new build, or how old do you feel the roof is?
I don't know. I think they built this house kind of like 20 years ago. Since
20
then,
years ago.
a couple of times, but since I've been here, it's always been the same.
So 20 years ago, and it's leaking. Yeah, that could be trouble for you guys. How long did you say the roof's actually been leaking? Like, when did this occur?
So we had an issue after we repainted the wall, but we realized it was the roof. So it was like,
yeah. Is there any electrical electricity near the leak area, just to make sure it's not going to be hazardous for you and the family?
Not really at the moment.
So. Not really. Now, like I said, it seems like there is a bit of a leak there. Like I said, I'm not even sure if you'd need the roof replaced, but what I could do, if it would help, I could actually send somebody out just to actually have a look at the outskirts and just let you know if there's any issues regarding the roof, or it might even be something that could be easily fixed, so you don't have to go through all the trouble of someone telling you need the entire roof replaced. But would that be helpful if we sent one of our guys out just to let you know what you're dealing with, so you don't have any further issues?
Yeah. I mean, you can do that.
All right. Well, what I could do, I could pull up the schedule right now. Let me see if I've got someone in the area. That way you don't have to wait like there's a lot of those other larger companies out there, probably know the ones I'm talking about. With an incident like this, you probably just want to get it looked at sooner rather than later, just so the leak doesn't turn into a larger issue for you. So I can see I've got one of the guys actually helping one of your neighbors out in the area, a couple of streets down, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Do you have a window between 4 or 5 he could hop past for just a quick view, just to see if there's anything going on there that you want to
Yeah,
know?
yeah. We can do that.
All right, and pause.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, guys, good Anthony in the chat for Anthony, because that wasn't easy either. One thing that I want to say is this one. So we done today for you guys, for making sure that you guys have something for tomorrow or next week to sell, okay? Or for help you. It is completely for free, this part right here, right? So please respect us. I guess also some people in the chat and stuff. Respect us that we're trying to give you some sort of training completely for free, because we want to change the way how people perceive sales. So thank you. Be respectful and ask some really good questions, which is we're gonna try to give our best. So
yeah, disclaimer, I've never sold roofing. Like I said, we're doing a live role play, guys, off the cuff. There are different situations. Like one of the clients that we actually coach in our inner circle, which we've written the script for, he charges assessments for the roof to come out, because you don't want your tire kickers. So like I said, we've got situations and scenarios and different scripting for all different niches and different scenarios. And with that, the script would then have to be adjusted. All right. We don't have time here in the next 2 hours to go through everything. We would love to, but we don't. So just take what we're saying and then look at how would this apply to my industry.
Yeah.
Was that helpful though? Was that helpful? Yes? Okay. All right. We can keep going or we can stop. Up to you guys. We're going to feed off you.
Let's keep going. I'm having a roll in this one. So
right.
everybody was saying cars. All right. Let's do this. Let's do car sales, right? Let me share my screen.
Go for it.
So for car sales, I don't know, I think Evans or someone was saying car sales, right? It was yelling at car sales. All right, we got it.
Cold calling?
I can't call it for the car sales, but it's more likely. So this one is the outbound. Hey, is this Anthony there? Hey, Anthony, this is just Michael from for 1 hour getting back to you. We recently requested some information on a website. Looking at was about possibly looking at some financing options. Just had time to get back to you, see if you could help. Right. So explain this part in depth, Anthony, a little bit more on this, because this is more like an outbound process, right? Or call it someone like you just done.
Right. So with outbound calling, right? You've got lead lists. Like if you're selling cars, for example, you've got people going to the website or making some sort of inquiry. Now, what are they saying? Let me know, all my car sales people out there. What are they saying as soon as you call them? As soon as you call them, like what happens? What are they currently saying to you when you're using the approach that you're using now, or the script that you're being forced to use? Anyone that's cold calling, what do your prospects say? Outbound calling, leads, cold calling, inbound calling, how much? Tell me the final price. Tell me the final price. What's the rates? X, Y, Z. So what we need to do is we need to position ourselves not like all the other sales reps and the salespeople that are calling them. So what we say is, it looks like you recently requested some information on one of our websites about possibly, looking at one of the Audi vehicles. Listen, I just had some time to get back to you to see if I could help. Pause. Why am I saying I just had some time to get back to you to see if I could help? Because I'm already positioning myself as I'm busy. If I had just had some time to get back to you to see if I could help, I'm busy. I'm not sitting there by the phone waiting for you to put in an inquiry and then calling you. So immediately, psychologically, it positions us as a higher status than everybody else saying, hey, this is just Anthony from 401 Auto. I saw you just filled out an application. I'd love to see if the Audi is good for you. Click. Or, yeah, man, I just want to know what's the price? Like, how much is it going for? Make sense, everybody? Let me know in the chat. Does that make sense? Doesn't matter what you're calling. Doesn't matter what outbound lead you're calling. You want to use that line. If we're calling an outbound lead for life insurance. Hi, this is just Anthony with 7th Level Insurance. looks like you recently inquired about getting some possible protection for your family. I just had a few minutes to get back to you just to see if I could help. I should probably start by asking though, did you find what you were looking for, or are you still looking for the X? Did you find what you were looking for, or are you still looking for a new vehicle if you're selling car insurance?
That's actually right. So now there is the most important part is I should probably start off by asking you, have you found what you're looking for, or you still looking? So now for car insurance is for vehicle financially possibly, all right? Now for any other niche is whatever you sell. Why would you, Anthony, why do we say have you found what you're looking for, you're still looking? Go ahead.
Because here's the thing, right? Remember what I said. Your intent is to what? What's our intent needs to be? The prospect needs to perceive our intent to what? Chat box? I'm waiting. Alejandro, help them. Sandra, yes. Help them. So when I say, have you found what you're looking for, or are you still looking for a possible vehicle? What am I doing? I'm saying, I don't care. I'm not attached to any outcome here. If you found what you're looking for, well done. So I'm immediately taking the pressure off. I'm lowering their guard. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. I don't need the sale. All right. So if you found what you're looking for, or you're still looking for a possible vehicle. All right. In this one here, if someone reached out and they inquired about getting financing, you would say this: are you still looking for a possible vehicle financing? And then we're going to move into the next part. Now, it's really important you salespeople out there know where they came from. Did they come from the website? Did they come from an ad on Facebook? Did they come from Instagram? Make it specific, because you need to remind them of why they're there. So then I would move into, so I was curious when you saw the ad online, so I was curious when you went through our website, like what was it about the car that you inquired about that I guess attracted your attention? They're going to have to then recall going to my website, seeing the car, telling their partner, wow, looks like a good car. I need them to relive that so I can remind them. Make sense?
Yeah. So Larry was asking the question that you just saying, Anthony, which is like, why ask the customer about what attracted to their attention when they saw the ads? Because remember, Larry, the ads give them the intent to try to solve a problem. So you want to recall that. So if you have an ad saying, hey, we have low financing on a car, so buy a car now, they go like, hey, what is about the ads that attracted your attention? Well, I say you guys do low financing on some sort of cars. So okay, that makes sense. So there is a kind of like, because remember, you're calling them, you can't assume that they know exactly where you're calling from, right? Because sometimes when someone click on an ads, click on 40 of them, right? So that allows them, or allows you to understand, okay, we're talking about the same thing. But most of the times they will say, well, I don't remember recalling the ads. Yeah, it's the ads about like a car and, having low financing. I understand. So boom. So you know what we're both talking about.
Exactly right. All right. So let's keep moving. From there, once we find out that they're still looking, then we can move into situation questions, which we walked through. This is the engagement stage. Now, remember, the engagement stage is 85% of the sale, as you see here in the script. 85% of the sale is made here. What most people selling cars do is what? They wouldn't even ask, have you found what you're looking for? You're still looking. But let's say they do ask that question, right? Which they don't, hypothetically speaking. The prospect will say, yeah, I'm still looking. Okay, great. And you're still looking at the BMW? All right, yeah. So the BMW's got like 43,000 miles, XYZ. We're going to be selling it for this price. What we can do is book you in and come for a test drive. Sound good? Sound fair enough? What you're not doing is what? You're not finding out about the needs and the situation of the prospect. The more information you find out about their current situation, then you can help them realize what their current situation is. Maybe they don't even realize it. And then you can get a better problem awareness, because nobody's just buying a car because they want to buy a car, right? Why are they buying a car? They're buying a car because they have a problem and or an emotional need that they need to fill. If you don't find out what you're dealing with, are you dealing with a problem Maybe their car's broken down 17,000 times and they can't take their kids to school. Or maybe they've made a lot of money and it's time for them to show their neighbors that they've got status. Because ever since they were a little kid, someone told them once that they'll never amount to anything. And now they've got an emotional need. So figure out what it is. If you go straight into sales mode and sales pitch mode, how can you possibly help them relive the problem and or the emotional need and then show them how your solution can help that?
Yes.
Make sense?
And Andrew say something right now, just like you're going surface level initially, then digging into the real reason they know they have in their mind. Yeah, exactly right. Which is like the reason and the problem, right? So they can hear it, so they can hear it loud from themselves. Absolutely, Andrew. That's exactly why we're here, right? Just it's good that you're here with us so you can see it, right? And you can understand it. Go ahead, Anthony.
Why don't I do a quick role play, Marco? I'll be the
Yeah,
salesperson.
let's do it. I'm gonna share the screen.
All right, be the prospect a second.
I'm
let's
actually trying to buy a car.
All right, let's go with that. All right, so ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, is that Marco?
Yeah.
Hi, Marco. It's just Anthony Vazari here with 401 Auto. Looks like you recently requested some information on one of our websites about possibly looking at the Audi. I was just getting back to you. I just had a bit of time to see if I could help.
Yeah. I remember. I was looking at Audi. Yeah.
Okay, and I should probably start off by asking, like, have you found any vehicles, or have you found what you're looking for, or are you still out there looking for a possible vehicle?
No, I'm still looking for the car. Yeah.
And are you still set on the Audi, or are you still wanting to go over a few different models, just so I understand?
I'm set on the Audi. Yeah.
You're set on the Audi. Okay, and I guess when you went through our website, you would have seen a few different variations of the Audis we actually have on offer. What was it specifically that I guess you saw that caused you to want to inquire to possibly learn more?
Yeah, because I wanted to have an Audi A8 for a really, really long time, and and I think I was like, well, it's time, so why not?
Okay, that makes sense. Can I ask what type of vehicle you've been driving up to now?
Fiat 500.
Fiat 500. And how long you've had that for?
I mean, 5 years.
5 years? What
A
caused you
vintage.
what caused you to get into that type of vehicle, the Fiats, if you don't mind me asking?
It's just a vintage one. Like I'm
Yeah.
originally Italian, so I like vintage cars. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you like what you've been driving up to now, the Fiat?
I do like the car, but I can understand how it could be difficult to go around without air conditioning since it's from the 1956.
It can't all be doom and gloom. You've been driving it for the past 5 years. What specifically do you like about it?
Well, I mean, I'm attached to it, right? From where I'm coming from, so it's a good car. I'm attached to the car himself.
Yeah. Definitely coming from Italy, that makes sense why you're attached to it. Aside from the attachment, any specific features, just to see if I could help that you're really enjoying with the car that you'd like to see in a new vehicle
No,
you'd like to purchase?
no, it's just a vintage one. So
It's just a vintage one. Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like you're enjoying it and you enjoy the vehicle for the past 5 years. Just out of curiosity, what's recently caused you to want to look for a different vehicle like an Audi R8, which is significantly different to a vintage
yeah,
Fiat 500?
yeah, the Audi A8 is the car that I always wanted since I was a kid, right? So, and also the car that I have right now doesn't have aircon. So, I mean, Gold Coast is fairly hot.
Yeah.
I don't want to sweat inside the car. So,
Okay, that makes sense. Have you recently moved to the Gold Coast, or has anything recently
yeah,
changed?
yeah, I did move like
Ah, how long ago have you moved?
4 months ago. So,
4 months ago. Yeah, and from what I understand, the Gold Coast is pretty hot. How
yeah.
are you driving the Fiat 500 without any aircon, man? Like, what's going on over there? Are you in an oven on the daily? What are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Yeah, it feels pretty hot and it's a little bit difficult, especially when you have to go to work to your office. So that's not ideal, I would say.
Yeah, that could be trouble. Is that heat in the Fiat starting to have a bit of an impact on you over there in Gold Coast?
Yeah, I mean it's difficult to get to places. So most of the times I work to Uber everywhere.
Yeah, I see. And just so I understand the rationale of what you might be looking for the Audi R8, you had mentioned before it's been a dream car of yours for a while, but just so I understand, what's the main reason you want to get that vehicle now rather than maybe just getting another Fiat with an air conditioner?
Well, I mean, I think it's my dream car. I worked so hard, so I really want to fulfill my dream. So
Yeah, that's good on you, man. I just want to say, like, I want to commend you for actually going out. There's a lot of people when they're growing up, they say they want something, but they don't really do the things necessary to achieve their dreams. And for you, it sounds like your dream turned into a goal. So I just want to say congratulations to your success being in a position where you can actually get that car.
thank you for that. I really appreciate you.
And but before you reached out to me, have you been out there looking for ways to be able to get the Audi R8, or what have you been
Oh
looking
yeah,
at trying to get the vehicle?
yeah. It's been like a couple of years now, right? That I've been looking for it.
Oh, you
So,
have.
yeah,
When you say you've been looking for it, have you actively gone out and either test drove some vehicles, or like what have you done in the past 24 months about trying to actually get the vehicle though?
no, just search, right? Just the search, just searching the car, like looking
Ah.
into it. So it's
And
always, I've always been a little bit kind of like, so should I buy it? Should I not buy it? It's all in the middle, I would say,
I
right?
see. And I'm curious, what's prevented you from actually, going through and buying it? What's given you that uncertainty in the past 24 months?
Yeah, good question. I always thought there was a little bit of a stretch, right? So financially, I don't want to spend like $380,000 all at once. So,
Right.
but
And
I thought things had changed. So,
what's recently shifted, Marco, if I could ask, that's causing you to actually want to progress at looking at it now though?
yeah, good question. I'm kind of, exhausted to kind of stare at it,
Yeah.
uh, and kind of like, having to do it. So,
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess, there's always different vehicles out there. And I guess for you, let's do this just to make sure that what we have here at the dealership would actually work for you. But, besides it being your dream car and all, like, what are you actually looking for in the Audi R8 so we can actually, start discussing and maybe looking at if we've got any models that you even want, because maybe we don't have anything in stock. So what is it you're looking for? Like, what's your like ideal criteria with the Audi?
yeah, yeah, a car that can kind of make me feel like fulfilled, right? That I driving it.
That's
Also aircon, so that makes sense. So,
right.
um,
Let's pause it there because I'm getting further down the
you're selling me the car. That's
yeah.
just the situation. So,
We might have to go to the dealership after, Marco. I think.
yeah.
Look, all right. What did everyone notice? Give me your biggest takeaway from that role play. Biggest takeaway from that role play down below in the chat box. Something you noticed, something you saw, maybe a tonality, maybe it was a question I asked, maybe it was a pause I did. You're hitting on emotion, Brian. Emotional, great, good tonality, genuine conversation. Just ask questions, tonality, build the emotional gap. Yeah, exactly. All about the emotion. I'm not going straight into it. Oh, Marco wants an Audi R8. Yeah, Marco, we've got a few in stock. Do you want to come down the dealership, get a test drive? No, I'm asking him questions to figure out why does he want an Audi R8? What are you driving now? How long have you been driving that? Well, it can't all be doom and gloom. You've been driving it for 5 years. What's recently shifted? Now I've moved to the Gold Coast and it's like 47 degrees Celsius and I can't breathe in the car. Well, that could be trouble for you. Well, and then I asked the rationale question. Well, just so I understand the rationale, like, what's the main reason you want to kind of go to that next level of getting an Audi R8 rather than just buying another Fiat with an air conditioner?
Exactly
Why am I
right.
why am I asking that? Because Marco is then going to defend his position and defend himself on why he wants it. I'm eliminating the objection at the end that he may have in his mind of why don't I just stick with the Fiat, or why don't I just get another car with an air conditioner? Make sense? Bonnie
Okay.
says Bonnie says way too long. Way too long. Interesting. The thing is, Bonnie, and I really appreciate your comment, by the way, is when you're calling these leads, I've got Marco engaged. Did I get him engaged? Your job is to get someone engaged. It's only too long if they're not engaged with you, because then they're going to want to get off the call with you. So I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, and I don't know if you call leads or not, but if you're calling leads and you're not able to go through that, that tells me that the lead doesn't want to speak to you. Possibly, maybe something you're saying, or maybe your tonality, or maybe they're just hanging up on you at the start. When you engage the prospect and you sound attached and you're there to help them, they want to have a conversation with you.
Can I say something real quick?
Of course, Cynthia. That's why I saw you the chat, and I wanted to go on because you had a question. So go ahead. Absolutely.
First, I just want to say to Anthony, I really loved like the conversation. Like you were so easy to talk to. Like if I was Marco, like putting myself like your tonality is very calming.
Yes.
You know, you're not aggressive. I can tell you care, like you come off that way. So you did amazing.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Is it Cynthia or Cynthia?
It's Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Oh.
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Really,
So-
yeah. Really appreciate that, Cynthia. What do you sell?
You're welcome. Well, I do retirement income planning.
Yep. Are you outbound calling, inbound calling? What does that look like?
Well, I have referrals and then I do social media, like I do content and then I get clients like that.
Okay, so you get inquiry, right? So they inquired for something, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
usually.
So what's
But
the?
I would like to, I'm working on launching a campaign and like an ad.
Yeah.
And there's a landing page. And on the landing page, I created a quiz and it's for income replacement insurance.
Yeah.
And so I would like to know if you could role play with me being the prospect, so I can be challenging like how people are. And this could be a little bit, I don't know, more realistic to what other people on here are in the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, let's do it. Absolutely. That's why I got you in because I thought you want to role play. Give us a couple of info, right? So you do content, so people come to you, right? What is the one thing they look for, right? Generally.
And for me in particular,
Yeah,
they're looking to learn the truth about everything they're hearing out there with other people posting on social media, talking about life insurance and generational wealth and infinite banking. And there's so much information that's not quite correct. And so from the content that I put on my page, people come to me to ask me, hey, is this true? Is that true? Look at this video. And then they will get on the call with me and then go from there.
Okay, perfect. So they're looking for a way to make more money, though. That's primarily the outcome, right? So the problem that they have is they're getting overwhelmed by information, correct? And they want to make more money.
No, they just want to have protection. They want
Protection.
to have protection of their family. But there's so much information that's not correct out there about life insurance and different types that they see me as a credible source. So for that, it's fine, but I don't have enough. I haven't created that much content to get so many clients. What I'm looking to do is to create inbound leads in terms of I'm not making the content where I have a landing page and I have an informational video, and then creating like the hooks on social media to get them to go to the landing page and then qualify them on the landing page. And once they come through the qualification, they become a lead in my system. And so what I would like help with, if we can do a role play, is like the prospect that came in through this funnel, for example. And what it is basically protection, life insurance protection to protect your income. It's mostly for people who are 26 to about 45 years old, and they have children. They're financially responsible. Maybe they have, maybe they have a mortgage, maybe they have rent, but they're looking to make sure anything happens to them, their family still gets a paycheck.
Go ahead, Anthony. Have you got it? Makes sense? Have you got any question?
Yeah, we're good. Yep.
Okay. You go, Anthony. Cynthia.
All right. So Cynthia.
Thanks, Ali.
Sorry. What was that?
Ali C said Cynthia is the MVP today, so I just said thanks.
Yeah. And Cynthia, we don't know you. Just want to make sure we say that. Go as hard as you can. Anthony will go and I will go. So,
Cynthia,
Okay.
this
Yeah.
this is what I would like to do first, though, if you're open to it. I would like to do a quick role play where you're the salesperson and I'm the prospect, so we
Oh
can.
no, let's not do that.
You can't do that.
No, let's not do that right now. Let's just focus the time on this one.
All right,
It'll be
let's-
the most help.
okay, let's do it. All right, so I'm going to call you, and you made an inquiry, so it's more of an inbound lead, correct?
Right.
Okay, so
No, this hasn't been all finished created yet. I haven't launched the ad or anything, but the quiz is there and there's a landing page. And I have it.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
So I'm actually not getting leads from this yet.
Yeah,
So
that's
this is
fine.
very
That's fine.
helpful.
Mock
All right.
call role play. Ring ring. Ring ring.
you gotta run to
Okay, I don't answer the first ring. Come on.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Everyone pay attention.
I know. It is.
Hi, is that Cynthia?
Who's calling?
Hi, Cynthia. It's just Anthony with XYZ. It looks like you had responded to one of my ads a couple of days ago, and I just had a few minutes to get back to you to see if I could help about possibly getting some financial protection in place for your family.
Okay.
Is that right?
Now's not a good time right now because I'm on my way to go pick up my son.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I guess just to see if we could even help.
Who are you guys again?
It's Anthony from
Just say
XY.
covers that base.
It looks like you saw one of our ads about looking at, how to retire with enough income so you don't have to worry.
No, that wasn't it. I didn't inquire about that. I
Okay.
inquired about replacing my income with insurance.
I apologize. Yeah, we do run quite a few ads just to see if it's even worth us continuing to speak. Did you end up finding what you were looking for, or are you still looking at getting that protection in place?
I haven't quite found it yet.
You haven't quite found it yet. And just so I understand, when you saw the ad online, what was it you saw, or what's going on that I guess caused you to feel like maybe getting that protection is important to you now, though?
Well, I already have protection at work. I just thought this was interesting. I was talking about replacing my income if anything happened to me, like if I got sick or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I was wondering about. Now, did I qualify for the living benefits or no?
And you may not. Really, like the first part of this call is for me to learn a bit more about the protection you have through work now, and I guess the income that you're actually looking at replacing, just to see if you'd even need further protection, because there are some people out there that are probably just better off staying with the protection they have through their work. But can I ask what type of
You
protection?
think so, really? Someone was telling me we always talk by the cooler box at work. I work for I deliver mail. So we always talking, and they say that work life insurance isn't that great. So, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to, look into something else.
Yeah, and it really does depend. Can I ask, though, what type of insurance you have through work now? What type of cover you have with them at the moment, just to see if it is any good or not?
Or say that again?
Can I ask what type of cover you have through work now, just to see if it is any good?
Oh, it's like 5 times my salary.
5 times your salary? And
Yeah.
how long has that cover been in place for at the moment?
About 6 years.
6 years. And you've been with the company for 6 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
I see. And just so I understand, like what got you involved with that type of company in the first place for the past 6 years?
Oh, you know how they say the government jobs,
Yeah.
they're the most secure jobs.
Yeah. So they
And the benefits. Gotta get the benefits.
for sure. And with
But
the
listen, I really gotta go. Can we talk another time?
yeah, we could. It's totally up to you. Do you want to know, just to see if it's worth us having another conversation? Do you want to know if the 5 times salary is I guess the most suitable option for you, depending on your situation?
Yeah, but I like to take my time with this.
Most
And I really like to be sitting down
yeah.
and take some notes, write on my notepad over here, and
Sure.
do that when I have some more time.
For sure. And most people do, which is why we really have a really basic call. I guess, do you have a few minutes now? I can ask you some basic questions about the protection.
You asked me basic questions already on the website. I put my information in there. Put my age, I
Yeah.
put my relative health, answer some questions.
For sure. Yeah. And Cynthia, I do apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. They have us re-ask the questions. As these days there's a lot of things coming through the website. So we just have to verify, I guess, some of the information you have just to see if it's even worth us having a further conversation. But just out of curiosity, what has you after 6 years looking at maybe getting some, replacement for your income rather than just sticking with what you already have?
The living benefits, like I said.
Ah,
All right. Pause it
Seems
there.
like you're not quite listening. Okay, pause.
All right. First of all, I just want to say this. Kudos to Cynthia for being a
Yeah.
really, really difficult and hard prospect. Hard prospect, she's not being easy. She's throwing all the barbs, which is good, which is what we want. Now,
Yeah,
for
the
those
people have attitude when they answer the phone, and they're not always having a good day. So
exactly right. Now,
gotta be ready.
Cynthia, there's some people in the comments that will be thinking, this is all planned. We told Cynthia to come up here and do that. Was this
I
planned?
know. I can't even believe my thing went on mute. I was like, oh, it's like my heart was pounding so hard right before like even talking. Oh my God, you have no idea. But sidebar, what is blue pill? Someone wrote on the chat. Cynthia took a blue.
Cynthia, when you do this type of events and there is a lot of people, don't worry about what everyone says in the chat. So don't worry about it. It's fine. So,
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult to see it because you can't follow the conversation because there's so many comments. I guess, Cynthia, you tell us, right? What did you take off from what Anthony's done? Also,
I really feel like I would have felt better if you just would have just given me the calendar invite. Like I was serious about that comment. Like I want to sit down at my desk and I want to write things down as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I have to look at things,
Yep.
I have to do that. And so like I told you that's what I wanted. And then I kind of like rolled my eyes. I kind of tuned out and you kind of heard me because it took a while for me to answer and I kind of like spaced out for a second.
Yeah.
True story. So
okay. So
and everybody on the chat who thinks that this was like pre-thought about, no.
All right,
And I'm
Cynthia,
so glad. Thanks, guys, for letting me get on here. This is what I needed to hear, like how you would come back to someone with my personality.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. Let me break down what Cynthia just said there as well. So the biggest thing is what you would have noticed is I kept Cynthia on the phone. Now, I am not attached. I'm just asked another question every time. What did I say? When Cynthia said, hey, I got to go. Yeah, that's not just to make sure it's even worth us scheduling another time. Do you mind if I ask you just a few questions around the cover you have now, just so we're not having a further conversation about something you don't even need? So the biggest thing I was doing on that call, and Marco, break it down in a second, is, and disclaimer, I've never sold financial services or life insurance or anything like that, but I'm detached. I don't need the sale. Like, how long have you been with the company for? Well, what's after 6 years? What's got you looking at getting some further protection rather than staying with what you already got? Right? So the whole thing, and that was not a difficult call. That was not a difficult prospect. I just used NEPQ. I don't have a script up in front of me, and I'm just being me. Doesn't matter what you're selling. Now, if Cynthia wanted to get off, great. She can get off and do that. But at least I held my position and I'm in control of the call. I'm the one asking the questions. And I know at the end of the day, who's the one with the problem? Well, it's not me, guys. I don't have the problem. It's the prospect.
Yeah.
I have the solution.
Exactly right. Also, let's talk about the kind of commitment part. And by the way, kudos to Cynthia. It's not easy, right? It's not easy to come here and trying to be like a tough prospect and stuff like that, right? The calendar commitment, you can do it, yes, in the moment that you find a problem. Otherwise, they don't show up, right? So finding a problem, then we can go like, okay, calendar commitment, because of course she told you I don't have a lot of time, right? So the idea being until we find the problem, then boom, we go calendar commitment. Now, Andrew, I saw in the chat you had a question. Go ahead. Andrew?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's more about the cold calling because I've always gotten I've always struggled kind of too with kind of how to start the conversation because what I do is I kind of work with like the Google businesses, so off of Google there.
Yeah,
So a lot of the times if I'm cold calling them, I don't know the owner's name, right?
yeah,
And then if I'm calling and I get the gatekeeper or something like that, I don't really know exactly how to maintain the status while asking who to talk to, right?
yeah,
I don't want to lower my status, but I also don't want to come off as I haven't done research. I'm trying to
yeah.
ask on at the very beginning, right? If that makes sense, right?
Yes. So what's the role that rather than looking at the name, what's the role of the person that you're trying to get?
I'm trying to get the decision maker. So whether that's the person dealing with the marketing or the business owner, it's the person who makes the decisions, and I don't know that
Yeah.
person at all, right? So
So of course you can't ask the gatekeeper who is the decision maker, but you're selling it something that is ready to advertising, right? So
yes,
every times you ask, every time you get a gatekeeper, the first things you ask, like, and let me ask you, so that I don't waste your time because I know you're really busy. Who is in charge of the marketing department here? You see, they will tell you. Can you transfer me over? And after they transfer you over. Now the idea
sometimes
being,
what I yeah.
go
So
ahead, go
sometimes
ahead.
what I get after that is I'll get something like, oh, well, they're not in right now, or they're not going to be back for a couple months, or something like that, right? So maybe that's just my tonality or something, but I
Yeah,
feel like trying
no,
to get
no,
to the
no,
gatekeeper
wait,
can
wait.
be,
But they do that, right?
yeah,
Now, problem is then is the problem with cold calling is when you start or when you try to solve it, but you cannot solve it. What you can do though is ask them to solve it. It's like, so how can we, I guess, how can we resolve that? So making sure that you guys don't lose leads or don't lose opportunity for the next 6 months that might cause you to lose sales.
right, yeah. Because it deals with the reviews and ratings for the business, so it helps to boost their SEO, right?
Yeah,
So in that case, there it can help to get more sales for them. I guess that would be the outcome for them, right? More new
yeah,
customers, more sales, right?
exactly.
So I don't want to focus on, hey, I can get you more reviews. I want to focus on the outcome of, hey, I can help you get more clients or more sales, right? Or I think that makes
To
sense.
improve the reputation of the business, right?
Yes, yes.
Exactly right. So how do you know if they have a good or a bad reputation, Andrew? How would you know?
Well, if I look at the list on Google, I can see some that have 5 stars, some have 4.8, some have 3 stars. Obviously, someone's got a 3 star is not going to have as many customers as someone's got a 5 star,
Exactly
right?
right. So
So,
what you tell them on the call is like, who's the one in charge of improving your rating score on Google? Because it seems to be really low. It seems to be a tree that might cause you to lose deals because people, the first things they see is that you have a low rating on Google. It's like, oh, he's our marketing
oh,
director. Uh, and it, oh, but he's in holiday, or he's busy. He's gonna come back in the next 3 months. And I was like, so how can we resolve that? So when someone looks at your website, rather than going and looking for another competitor, they just come to you guys. You see, you
oh,
ask them to resolve it because you can't resolve
right,
it.
right. So you're mentioning that you're looking for the person who's in charge of that, but also kind of pointing out one of the issues that they may not be aware of, which is their rating, right?
Yeah,
To, and then to bring the attention, because now the gatekeeper knows that, but then they can also try and bring you to the person that you need to talk to,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
totally agree. Yeah,
and it's kind of held me back from trying to do the cold calls because of the fact that that's one of the things that affects my confidence is not knowing what to say when I don't know the decision maker, right? So that does help quite a bit for sure.
yeah,
So,
but you know that's the thing. Andrew, you don't in a cold call, you don't have information, right?
yeah.
So you cannot create information. What you do, you always flip the frame out around them resolving your issue, right? So, oh, we don't have time right now. Yeah, I totally understand you don't have time. You don't know nothing about us, and I call you out of the blue. That's why I would be quick. Also, because I got an appointment in a couple of minutes. You see, you flipped it. So,
Right, right.
I'm not interested. Well, I totally understand because you don't know what we have, but that's why I'm calling you. You flipped that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you see, like that clicked, right? So
You're agreeing with them to begin with, right? You're saying I completely understand where you're coming from. It's
Because it's
And
true. Oh, I'm not interested. Of course, they don't know nothing about you. How would they be interested? All they see on the screen is your phone number. So you tell them, it's okay, man, I totally understand. I'll call you out of the blue. You don't know what we have.
right, I think that makes sense. Yeah, so that's yeah, it makes a lot more sense for sure. Just basically asking if they can help you to begin with and getting and working with them to try and find the right person, right? But you're
Yeah.
coming off, you're not worrying about who you're actually talking to at that point. You're just trying to find out the information as to who's in charge. You might get the person who's in charge, but you might not. But you're not worried about whether you're making that call or not, right? You
Yeah, but
just
also remember this: the gatekeeper is the most important person into that line. So the most important thing is when you ask to be transferred, you don't treat them like they are like retarded, right? But you treat them in a way like, listen, I know you're busy, right? And I really respect the time of people. Would you pass me to the person that is more, let's say, in charge? So you don't tell them appropriate, because otherwise it's like well, what do you think like I'm stupid? So there is also a language you need to use about what's the benefit of the gatekeeper on not wasting time with you. Because all the
right.
time, and I do B2B, right? All the time I saw like bigger deals on 350,000, 450,000. Man, the gatekeeper for me, they were super like I have a great relationship with all the gatekeeper of the places that I call. Why? Because they are the one that go like, oh, the guy that came on Friday asked to speak with you again. It's really nice. And boom, and I go back into the office. It's just I think a lot of people have been taught in the past with sales that gatekeepers like, oh, you're not appropriate. Can you pass for someone who's appropriate? And that triggers resistance all the time, right? But you gotta go the opposite. So,
Yeah, I've been heard a lot of times a gatekeeper's not your friend, but that's the exact opposite. You want to
is
make
this
them your
that
friend.
is this that
So
opposite? Is this that opposite? Of course, he's your friend. Like most of the times, I will email the gatekeeper the day after, say, thanks, I really spoke with that person. Is anything you need from me? Is there anything that you want me to tell him about something? So that creates a relationship also because when I have to follow up, for example, she's the one who's going to send me directly there.
right, that makes sense. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Perfect. All right.
Hey, who's enjoying the session so far, everybody? Let us know down below. We've done a couple of live. Me and Marco, we spoke last night actually, and we said, all right, what do we want to deliver tomorrow? What does everybody want? And then we said, why don't we just see? That's why we've come on today. We've had a bit of a framework on the generic script, but we wanted to see where it just went. It's more real, it's more authentic. We done live role plays, not scripted. Cynthia was not a plant, clearly, because you think if we planted someone, we'd get someone on that difficult. I'm just giving you a hard time. Now, that was great. You got to see a really difficult prospect and how NEPQ can be worked to diffuse that. You got to see certain role plays for different industries. We pulled up the generic script. So who here sees the power of NEPQ more? I'm genuinely asking you a question here. Who here sees how NEPQ can be used compared to the past 4 days? You got a lot of theory and you got some action and you got some role plays. But I'm curious to know, for me and Marco's sake, if you understand it more today, even a little bit more. Yes? Yes, I do. Yes, a lot more clear picture. Awesome. That's great. A little
There's
bit more.
a question. There's also a question.
Yeah.
Someone, but I'm gonna answer it after. It's fine. But there's a lot of people that they see the benefit, which is good. So may I post the link in case someone because I think it's the last day, the last 2 days for purchase date 2.2. So you guys go ahead. I want to answer some questions. There was one about the accent, which is funny. I never cared about it, if I have to be honest. I really never cared about it. And I'm fairly proud of what I do, where I come from, because I always sell editing, so never cared about it. Gregory say I'm a slow learner, but yes, it's been incredible. Thanks, Gregory. We really appreciate. Funny, great, but I want to know how can overcome the nervous of anxiety of using this objection. I'm doing a VIP objection handling tomorrow, which is all going to be about that. I prepared a full training on it. but yeah, absolutely. Like that's a big one that people have. How often does challenge happen? I will be joining VIP for the next one. Yeah, I don't know. We do it once a quarter, primarily.
I just want to correct, guys. The VIP session will be on Monday because we want to give you guys one day off because you guys have been coming 5 day stayers. So those that are in VIP, Marco, should we invite those that purchase 2.0 as well to the VIP session?
Yeah. As long as people learn, that's all I care. As long as
Right.
people learn, that's all I care, for real. So
Yeah. So those that purchase the NEPQ, so get nepq.com 2493, guys. The link's there somewhere. You can we already explained it the past couple of days. We don't need to go through too much of that. We've got funding. If you need to get access to funding, if you want to speak to someone and you haven't already purchased yet, let us know. And if you guys get started before the cutoff, which is we extend it till Sunday PST midnight, so 12:01 a.m. on Monday morning PST. It ends, and that is, I believe, 7 a.m. Let me have a look. It's around 7 a.m. Sydney time if you're in Sydney. All right. So midnight PST, it is ending. So get nepq.com. And then if you're in VIP, yes, you'll get a link for the VIP session. And we'll also invite anyone that purchased 2.0 as well.
someone of us I could do our
question?
best play and you be the prospect. Yeah, I can do that. Rather than having Anthony be the prospect, I'll get a tough one from the crowd. Me and Anthony, we run play for 4 years now. I know every angle of his head, where he goes. So yeah, I can get my confidence with comments like I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, Melissa, that's exactly why we do it. Like you can understand, like for us it's Sunday. We don't take days off. I don't believe into that. But every time we do a master class and every time we do a free training, I just purely want people to learn. So you don't have to take everything of what we do, or it's not about is Anthony wrong or Michael right or some other sales trainer. Just get what you need to get out of it and put it tomorrow in your sales script and trying to make more money for your family. That's literally all we care. I'm in the wedding business. Good on you. Anthony just got married. So there you go. Congrats to
Just got
Anthony.
married. It's great business, that wedding business.
What what time is the training on Monday? It's 6 p.m. EST. It's always the same time. We always start at the same time. You two really nailed it tonight. I really appreciate it. Thanks, you, Kevin. Really appreciate it. I will do the role play. Jesse. Get Jesse on. Great training. I will start for a stage. Right. Perfect. Well, Mark, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate. We miss Jeremy, but you guys, I know. Well, we are like the replacement for the night. All right. What can we do? Where can we download the script? Is that on the website? It's on the website. Go on sunflowerhq.com. There is some resources there. I don't know if the script is there, but you can definitely find it somewhere. Did they use an NPQ to sell you on the price of the wedding cost? That to me, that's a good question.
Oh, baby. Tell you what.
How do we get in training with you two? NPQ 3.0. That's the place, but you gotta do 2.0 first because you gotta make sure you understand the methodology. No call tomorrow night. No, tomorrow is Sunday. Some of you guys, I think, are not on, so we decided to do it on Monday. I think it's on Monday, right? Yes, it's on Monday.
Yeah.
I have a question. How often you should follow up without sending needy? That depends, right? Because is it follow-ups is not just on the phone, but you have email, you have a text, and you can time it, right? So if you call someone every day, 20 times a day, of course you sound needy, right? But if you establish touch bases like once every 5 days, once every week, once every 2 weeks, you send email and text, that should help you a ton.
Someone's asking for the funding link real quick. I'll post that in the chat, guys. If you want to, it's an application that'll tell you if you're eligible or not. If you're eligible, you'll be able to book in with our funding managers who can walk you through. If not, we can have a team member call you to see if we can help.
What is the website? It's sunflowerhqteam.com. Actually, yeah, financing is there. Congrats to Michael in your positions. Thank you. Really appreciate. I actually really have to go pick up my son. Yeah, thank you, Cynthia. We really appreciate you coming in. Can we role play with you real quick, just 3 minutes? Yeah, yeah. Get set on, please.
Seth.
Yeah.
Seth Moody. Let's get him
You,
on.
you ask why is that important to you now, those several times to probe? Not several times. I always ask it when I feel like that. For example, I will go like, what's the rationale possibly looking into changing X rather than have
Hey,
X?
guys.
Hey, Seth, give us a second. We're just answering the
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. Know that I was on. You're good.
So the why it's so important to you now is it's such an essential question. The idea is to use it when you feel is best in terms of they give you the most out of it. Michael got promoted. Yeah, apparently. You do a great. Thanks. All right, Seth, go ahead. What do you
Okay.
say?
I sell door-to-door security. And I just want to really like appreciate or thank you guys, because I didn't really know how to apply this to my like one call like close industry. I felt like a lot of the things that I had purchased were more for like appointment setting and kind of like just more complex sales. But I feel like after like going through this with you guys, I feel like I was able to kind of like finally put a script together. And so I just wrote like I just wrote part of like the new NEPQ script like the best way I could. I don't have a lot of material. I just have the black book, and then I have like the mini course and stuff like that. But do you want to hear the script that I wrote, or do you want to
Yeah,
hear like
of course.
my old script?
Anything that helps you, just first things, because when I teach people, right, is how do you feel about your old script? Because if your old script is working and you're making bang, just keep it, right? You don't need to change anything.
No.
Right? So
I'm doing like my numbers are about like one sale every like 113 doors.
there's no working, right?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like a product pusher. I didn't realize it until I like was on this call. Like, I'm very much just like, hey, what's going on? My name's Seth. I'm with Skyline. I don't know if you guys have like seen the doorbell cameras, kind of like where you can talk to somebody at your front door. Maybe you wouldn't have had to talk to a door-to-door guy. And then like,
No.
we kind of laugh a little bit or whatever. And so, but yeah, so I just have the NEPQ script right here. So I can try that with you guys if
Yeah.
that I would
Yeah,
want to.
We'll
All
do
right.
that. We'll do that. Give me a second, Seth. Give me a sec. First,
Okay.
right, because I want to coach you, right? Because just having the script doesn't mean that you know how to do it. All right. Now,
Right.
what's the problem that you solve to these people?
The problem that I saw, and that was another thing that I, wasn't really 100% clear on, but I believe the problem that I saw for people is knowing, like, having surveillance around their home, when maybe like peace of mind, but I was trying to get like a more specific thing, like maybe like when the noises happen at nighttime and you don't really know where they come from, you'd be able to check your phone. I was just trying to find so generic things to say, like, oh, peace of mind, oh, you're losing sleep, stuff like that.
Look at the chat, right? These beautiful people are giving advice. Peace of mind, as safety, sense of security, family safety, family protection, family safety. The reason why would someone have an alarm or a camera is because why? You want to make sure your family is protected, right?
Yeah.
So that's the problem that you solve. The problem that you solve is those people don't have the right protection.
Right.
How would you know that, Seth? By approaching the door, how would you know if they have the right protection or not?
I just by looking around to see if they have cameras or see if there's a sign in the yard that shows that they have security inside the home, I guess. Or is that not the question you're asking? Oh, okay.
That's the bingo. Okay. So when you approach them, right, the first things you want to say, hey, how you doing, morning? Yes. Second things you want to do is like, we help your neighbor Karen down the line, down next block, because she had an issue a couple of months ago about someone breaking inside their house. And I noticed that you have the same systems that she had. Are you aware that someone is breaking into houses in the neighborhood? Pause. What you created there is a sense of worrying or something that they don't. But what you told the person is they have the same system of the person that done what? They got break into. Does that make sense, Seth?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does make sense. The thing, the reason, I mean, everybody has always said, like, through our, like, through the training and stuff like that, has said not to try and like use scare tactics and stuff like that. And so that's kind of where
Okay.
I've tried to like stay away from that. So I wouldn't, but I want, but I do sell something that's, since I've been hearing you guys, I've been realizing it's like I do sell something that I don't know. I feel like I do need to get personal, or like more real a little bit quicker, to where it's like, I know we don't want to talk about these things, but unfortunately break-ins do happen. Like, some way to bring it up.
Exactly
So
right. Exactly right. So pause a second. So you say your
yeah,
company told you to not use scarcity technique or tactics, right? If
right,
what, if what they have is not good and what you have is better, so they can give them more security, there is not scarcity. You're just telling them the truth.
right.
Might happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Might happen. And if you sold one person out of 100, and let's say you sold 10 human beings into a year, there might be one human being that has the same security system they have. So there's not scarcity about nothing of that. It's just being tactical with the information that you have. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, role play with me. All right. You are the sales guy. I'm the prospect. And after we turn the roles around, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I don't want to take as much, like, more of your guys' time. You want me to do the old script or the new one that I just wrote?
The new one that you wrote.
Okay, cool. Um, hey, are you the like the homeowner here?
Yeah, it's me. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm not really quite sure you could yet. I stopped by to see if you would be if you would be open to looking at any possible, like, hidden gaps in your home security that could be causing you to feel unsafe, like maybe when your spouse isn't around.
Pose. Here I would tell you, no thanks, right? Because you haven't given me anything to worry about.
Okay.
All right. Let's revert the role. Hey, are you the homeowner?
Yeah. Yeah. How can I help you?
Yeah, no, I was just going by and I saw your the sign of your security system. We help one of your neighbor down the road. It's like next block. That one that she walks the Labrador. She's like a blonde tall lady. They got break into what's like 2 months ago, and there's a similar alarm system that you have. Have you noticed anything strange the last couple of months going around your house at nighttime?
No, no, I haven't.
And pause, right? So that you create the pattern is relatable. Then what you do is you tell them what you just say, the possible hidden gaps. All right. So go ahead, redo it again.
Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Hey, are you the like the homeowner around here?
Yeah, it's me. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm not really quite sure you could yet. I don't know if you know James, right down the block with the new blue Corvette, like the new Stingray, like the 2022.
Yeah, I don't quite remember. Like it's a full neighborhood, but what's up with him?
Yeah, so yeah, the reason I stopped by is because he actually had the same system that you guys had, and it was outdated. It was off of like the 2 and 3G, and those are actually kind of phasing out. And so we're just trying to get everybody upgraded to the 5G, so that God forbid something happened, your guys' security system would actually work the way that you guys were hoping it would. Um, and I'm just wondering if you guys are like open to looking at any possible hidden gaps in the home security that would be causing you guys to feel unsafe.
Bingo. Good job. You see, you got me the
Okay.
worry after you got me the possible hidden gaps. So now, Mook, because you give me something to worry about. Now, I saw someone say, well, what if you don't know your neighbor or not? But it's like you're not telling them next door, which is the problem that some people do sometimes. Around, right? Which is good. Possibly hidden gaps in that, which is perfect. Now, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's outdated. I got no idea. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Seth. Keep replying.
Yeah, yeah, and so yeah, um, so basically what I do is I just help people with like their home automation and like smart surveillance and being able to control the home from the phone, and that's kind of where getting updated actually helps you out. I'm not sure if you've seen those commercials where you can kind of control and see the home from the phone.
Nope. You're telling me everything, right?
Yeah, okay.
Let's role play. I'm the sales guy and you're the prospect.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bore you to death, but basically, how we help people is to make sure that we look at your current system and kind of see if there is anything that you could add, I don't know, visual way that might prevent you to have people breaking in before you even know. Would you be open to us to kind of come in and see if there is a possibility to help you?
I mean, yeah, yeah, definitely. I'd want to,
Okay,
protect the
okay.
home.
I mean, we don't know just yet. When is the last time that you purchased that system, if you don't mind?
I've had this for probably like 3.5 years now, 4 years.
Okay, and did you have a system before, or you didn't have one and you put this one in? It's kind of like what you got and what you got.
No, I didn't have one before. A guy came knocking on the door just like you did, and we kind of got hooked up.
Okay, pause. You see what I did, Seth? Is I'm asking you what you have now, right? Now remember what I told you before, right? Is someone else in the neighborhood has the same things you have. So now I have to recall it back again, which is like, okay, it's the same situation of your neighborhood. Someone came to their door, they bought it, the alley for 2 years, it's outdated. So if I say that, now we have a conversation. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Let's revert the roles. You back at this being the sales guy, and I'm the prospect. Go on the
Okay.
situation. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not really sure if this would necessarily work for you. And I'm sorry, what was your name?
Marco.
Marco, nice to meet you. Seth with Skyline. And yeah, Marco, I don't know if this would necessarily be right for you. What I do is pretty simple. I just kind of look at where the home security is and kind of where those possible hidden gaps are, just like I did for James. And then we can basically make those necessary updates just because somebody came by and helped him out, about 4 years ago. And as long as, things are, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm teaching you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could role play with you and show everybody how good we do it here, but it's not. It's here about teaching you. Okay. You say that. Pause. Now, ask them a question. Right. What's
Yeah.
what's the outcome that you want? Is you want to look in this you want to look at the system, correct?
Yeah. I want to transition into the home.
Exactly right. So how do you transition inside the home without being invasive?
I usually just tell them, as long as your guys' system is compatible with ours, it's going to save you guys quite a bit of money and us. Because I'm not trying to, to charge you guys an arm and a leg. And so that's kind of the way I usually do it.
No, but it's not about the money. Remember.
Right.
Right. So what you told them is like, oh, the neighbor, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like, listen, I'm not quite sure if what we have is better than what you actually have. I mean, I might recall by what I saw from outside. So if you allow me to, what I could do is come in and kind of see what you have and see if there is a possibility to help you. Would you be open to that? You see, Seth?
Yeah, no, I love that. I really do like that a lot because a lot of the tactics that we use like now to try and get in are like they're not like lying or whatever, but they're just like, and I don't want to say sleazy either, but it's like, oh, do you have a back door? And then they're like, yeah. And it's like, okay, is it a slider? And then we'll ask them like, okay, is the fire rating like, is it 4 or 5? And it just doesn't even matter. It just gets them to be like, I'm not sure. And then we're like, okay, let's take a quick look. And then that's kind of how I usually get in. So I like being able just to ask them. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, for example, how many of those people that you asking this question really know the answer of what you're asking?
That's the point, to try and get,
Why are we asking this question? It's just tell them the opposite. Just like, well, I mean, generally the way, the reason why we're here is because most of the people don't really know what they have in their alarm systems and why they have it there. And what that means is that when you actually get break into someone, you don't know what to do with it. Do you resonate with that? You use it in your advantage set rather than use it in your disadvantage.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Make sense? All right, let's go into the next
Yeah.
part. So let's say you come in, you're inside the house. What do you do?
Okay, yeah. So I would put my my anchor down, which is like my iPad on the table. And then okay, yeah, Marco, where's your like panel that kind of controls the system?
Pose, right? So when you ask, can I come in or would you be open? They say, okay, yes, come in. The first things you say is, would you lead me to the X, Y, and Z? So you want them to lead you there. Why would you do
Okay.
that? When you go inside the house of someone, and the first things they're scared is where this guy is gonna go. But if you are telling them the direction of it and to ask them to lead you there, they're most safe. They're in control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, would you be open to lead me to the panel, so I can see? And boom, you just go ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome too. Yeah, that's definitely different than what we have been told too. They say like once you get in the house to really start to like lead them around, like you're the expert.
Yeah,
And
right. In the house, asking about security.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
So okay. So yeah, so Marco, I appreciate you being open to seeing what we can do here for you. You mind leading me to the panel real quick?
Then you lead them to the panel. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Okay, yeah. So this is like the exact same thing that I saw over at James' house. This is the Simon XTI. Yeah, we used to use these.
No. Pause. Write this down. You get to the panel, all right? If the panel is something outdated, you verbal cues. Remember what James say? Verbal cues. Is the same. That could be trouble.
Yeah,
yeah. You do that. You don't want to tell them anything. Oh, this one is bad. Because everything that you say doesn't make sense. It's everything that you ask. Now, the way you react, it does. It's the same with James. That could be trouble. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. This is the same one as James had, Marco. That could be trouble.
Trouble.
Sorry, what did you say?
So generally they will tell you how you mean by trouble, right?
Yeah, so trouble just meaning like these go off of the 2 and 3G cell towers that have already been sunsetted, and now we're just kind of working on the 4 and 5G, so that God forbid we needed this thing to call out, it might not. Yeah,
everything that you said is what you would say to an engineer. I have no idea of what you're talking about. 2G, 5G, 6G, 7Gs. Mate, I'm fairly simple, all right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I do it with you, okay? I do the entire role play, right?
Okay.
All right, this is the same, James. That could be trouble. Okay, so it seems like you purchased a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago.
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
Okay. And I guess since then, have you looked for ways to improve it, or did you know that might be either outdated?
I mean, no, I hear it beep, when I come in and out of the door, and it arms and disarms when I need it to. So
So let me ask you, what if rather than coming from the door, they break into the window, and you don't have any camera showing you people coming from places outside the door?
I mean, if I'm either in my bedroom, I've got my gun, and I'd like to, see him try to get in, but
I mean, I mean, I mean, we don't want to pick up the rifle for every time someone, or a bird come inside the window. I guess let me ask you, what would be the consequences? Let's say if you guys go to holiday, and someone breaks inside the window and can break inside your house, and you don't have any system in place to show you that.
um, I guess I don't know. I guess they would, have as much time as they'd have in here, until the police arrived. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I would just file a claim.
Pose. You see, that's that is give them
Yeah,
something to think about.
yeah, yeah. That's true.
Do you see how different it is to what you have?
Yeah, yeah,
No, if you're
yeah.
such,
It was like I tried to NEPQ product pushing,
no, that's fine.
but
That's what
that was like my first time writing it. But I really appreciate you going through this as thorough with me as you are. I didn't expect this, but I appreciate it.
fine. So the first question is what you currently have, how long you had it, curious how you got it, right? So that's after you enter the house. What do you have? How long? Curious how you got it. The next one is a problem awareness question. So you gotta make them aware of a problem.
Yeah.
So how do you make them aware of a problem? Is like by knowing what they have. So you told me, hey, this beeps when you come through the door. Like, how about someone comes to the window? What kind of impact is it gonna have on you?
Yeah, I guess I'll be cut off guard.
It's actually right.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You see, when you have the problem, then you expand the problem. How you mean by someone you will call for guard?
I mean, I would just hope that I heard the glass break and everything, but I have to set the alarm to stay because I have my dog. And so hopefully my dog would be barking and stuff, but I guess if the alarm wouldn't go off at that in that point, and so it would just be me and him in the house.
I understand. Can I show you a different perspective, Seth, if you don't mind?
Please.
Because we use the word hope a lot. Like, I hope that my dogs, I hope that. And of course, when someone breaks inside your house, they have a plan that most likely you don't. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So my question is, what if everything that you hope doesn't happen? What's going to happen then?
Mm. I don't know. I just pray to God that they just kind of take what they want and leave me alone.
But do you really want to do that, or you want to change that?
I mean, if you can help me change it, I'd like to change it. Yeah.
But well, that doesn't depend on me. It depends on you if you really want to stay where you are or you did change.
No, I mean, no, now that you're here, yeah, I mean, I want to change.
You see, that's how you move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you. It's normal. Keep in mind that even for us, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the audience now. So, but I just want you to rewatch these. I don't know if you have access to recording, but I think it's gonna come like
No,
to
I
you.
did VIP. I did VIP. So is all this going to be like recorded?
Oh yeah. If you have VIP, also you have a session. You're coming to the session on Monday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. You have all the replay. You have everything. Just rewatch it. There's gonna be objection ending. So.
Oh,
That's
yes.
awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Seth.
I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you,
guys.
Seth. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate
All
you.
right. Who enjoyed that? Give it up for Marco, guys. Give it up for Marco doing a live role play in an industry like that. Well done. Good job. what's your biggest takeaway as well? Let us know. We've done a few role plays now. I want you to see that doesn't matter what industry, doesn't matter what you're selling, doesn't matter what modality, outbound, door to door, cold calling, B2B, B2C, B2G. We just want to show you how the framework is a framework that can be adapted. Now, keep in mind, me and Marco are trained. We've both done an EPQ nearly 3-4 years ago now, right? So we're trained. We never started this way. The way I used to sell previously was very pushy, was very hard sell. It was buy or die. There was no follow-up done. It was the old era. And I personally found after COVID, which is why I explored NPQ, I found that the way people bought were very different. Everyone was more cautious. They were more skeptical. And the biggest thing for me, Marco, as well, I don't know if you saw this, is I realized a lot of people just had so many more sales calls through COVID because I think maybe they were bored for 2 years and they were stuck home. So they were just like doing, like signing up for stuff. And this everyone was using the same script. So that's when it all had to shift. And then that's when NEPQ changed the game.
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, right? You have to embrace the methodology that you like. So there is a lot of good sales training, like Grant Cardone is a good sales trainer, for example, right? And I love sales and I love the art of sales for everybody. Just pick what is the methodology that you want, master it, use that one, and learn what you need to learn. For us, for me, I fall in love into this one because, as you can see, like I like to ask questions. I'm like when I've done the replay with Seth, I was really curious, and I believe the sales is an art. It's not the art of putting people in places they don't want to be, but it's just really ask them questions so you can kind of understand what the heck is going on. So,
yeah. Victoria, when I grow up, I want to be like Marco and Anthony. I mean, we're not that cool, guys. I don't know if you want to be like us, but we appreciate the compliment. All right, who's got some questions? Anything? Me and Marco, how are we looking for time, Marco?
I mean, I can go. It's fine.
Yeah.
I can as much as long as we help people, we're good.
Happy to answer any questions at all. If you've got questions about the offer as well, drop them in there. We can answer those questions.
Get Kelly on. Get Kelly on. She needs some help. Kelly Vocal? Yep, yeah.
All right, Kelly Vocal, we'll let you up. Kelly, just unmute yourself, please.
I'm unmuted. Hi, guys.
Hey, Kelly. If you want to, I'm on as well.
Thank you so much for calling upon me. So I'm a matchmaker, which means my sales are automatically very emotional sales. Yep. So even before I was introduced to this whole program, certainly having conversations with people about where they're at and what the gap is and what they want, always dove into highly emotional conversations.
Yeah, is the nature.
Where I'm struggling, it's the nature of it. So where I'm struggling right now is that I feel like a lot of what you guys are saying, I've translated into my mind as I cannot accept any of their obligations as being real because I'm almost feeling like I'm a failure if I haven't closed them in one call. And I don't know if this is my own self-limiting belief that's coming into play, but it's making me feel icky. And can I give you one example?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I had a conversation with a woman today who was telling me about, she's 39 or 40. She desperately wants a man, wants to build a family, and she's in the process of trying to freeze her eggs. So her objection to me was, I've just spent $20,000. I'm going through the IVF process. I don't know if it's going to work. Financially, it just feels really uncomfortable for me to sign up for matchmaking at the same time as doing this because I don't know if it's going to work. So taking what I've learned from you guys, I pivoted to questions to try to get her to the place of realizing that no matter if it works or it doesn't work, she's still going to need the guy. But it felt icky to me. It felt cruel to play upon her fears. And, I was obviously doing it with a great deal of empathy of, well, what happens if it doesn't work? I mean, don't you really feel like you should be investing in this as a backup, or even if it does work, doesn't it feel like we should be moving forward in this path simultaneously? And it
All right.
felt
Okay.
ugly to me.
If I can, right, it's really important. Okay,
Please.
so let's establish a couple of rules in sales. Okay, when you enter a sales call, the outcome is someone always gonna get sold. It's either you or the other person. All right. So
Yeah.
if you get sold or why they cannot do it, then you get sold or why they can't do it. So you're justifying why you shouldn't be doing it. Okay. Now the idea being is that you are being pushy if you're giving them something that they don't need. Okay. But
Mm-hmm.
if someone inquires through for something like that, it means that he has a real need of having a partner, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be on a call with you. He would have been on a call with a doctor freezing their eggs, for example.
Yeah, and I know as I'm talking to them that they need me and I can help them. I feel good in that. I feel real in that. I feel powerful in that.
Yeah.
But as I'm asking the questions, I feel ethically icky that I'm the question, like I have to ask them questions that make them highly uncomfortable and are playing on their fears to
Yeah.
get them to see how much they need it. And that's where it feels incongruent to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're having a great conversation because part of selling someone is to bring them to an uncomfortable place. Because the idea of changing is changing for the better, is not changing for the average, right? So if you speak with me, if you were to spoke with me 6 years, 7 years ago, I had a lot of limitation myself, right? To be able even to do this, to do my job. But the idea of someone, for example, when I learned how to speak from stage or things like that, the conversation was more likely, hey, you're either going to be the person that always speaks one-on-one and makes $1 million a year, or either you can start influencing people for the better of other people. So either a nobody or you're either someone that goes and help people, and then you unlock yourself. The conversation is not easy because it's all about fear, but the person that sold me into that time asked me the question that I needed to hear rather than what I wanted to hear. And that's what selling is.
Yeah.
Right. So Kelly, let's do this. Let me role play with you. I'm the salesperson and you're the prospect. Would you be open to
Okay.
that?
Oh yeah. Should we do that scenario or one of my more typical ones?
And give me the most difficult scenario that you can possibly imagine. I don't care. Right? I really don't.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
You just need to explain me. Is there an inbound or outbound? Is that cold call? Like, how do they get to you?
They're all warm, but they might be aged. So let's take an older one where they spoke with somebody else at my company 6 months ago, and I finally got them on the phone, which, by the way, is another question for me because I almost never manage to actually get somebody to pick up the phone. And I'm desperately looking for insight of voicemails to leave and emails to send because nobody picks up their phone these days. But
So
that's another question.
you call them once, or you call them twice in a row, or you call them 3 times in a row?
Well, I keep hunting them down, and so I'll call, leave a voicemail, and then I'll call, and if they don't answer, I won't leave a voicemail, and I'll send a text, and then I'll call in hopes that they answer. They don't answer, and then I'll send an email. Like I'm trying different ways because I don't want to leave just endless voicemails for them.
No. Okay, explain. So most of the people, when you call them at work, especially if they have an iPhone, they have notifications off.
First of all, I don't call it work. I'm one of those people who does after hours and weekends because that's the only time people want to talk about their personal lives.
Sorry, what was that? The last part? I didn't understand.
But like it's really hard to engage somebody to talk about their personal life if they're on the job. So I tend to try to call them after hours or on weekends.
Yes. Okay. Now, you also keep in mind that people still have the not disturb on. Well, no, especially on an iPhone. I called them 3 times in a row because the third call, that's when the do not disturb goes off.
Like 3 times back to back, you call them?
Yes, because they don't receive the first and the second because they have the do not disturb on. But do not disturb is set that if you call someone 3 times in a row, they get the third one, but not the first and the second. So they don't know
Okay,
you.
but isn't that seeming awful for the people who don't have do not disturb on and they're just ignoring it?
But they pick up on the first or the second.
Okay.
That's the whole point. Make sense?
Okay. I
All right.
guess I just don't find people answer, but fair enough.
All right.
Yeah. Let me just add something there, Marco. So Kelly, you're right. A lot of people don't answer calls as much these days. The filters, the spam filters and all of that, when calling unknown numbers, like your number potentially coming up as spam. So what you want to do is you want to do the calls. When they don't answer, leave a text message. If you're actually messaging from your mobile, if I was you, I'd leave a voice message. And this can be done voice message or text. I would say, hey name, and this is if it's a warm lead. Hey name, it's just Kelly here from XYZ. I saw you recently reached out about possibly getting some help with XYZ outcome of what your ad says, which made them warm. Whether
If I may interrupt, I have no problem having somebody answer if it's warm. Nobody answers if it's a follow-up like from 6 months ago.
Yep.
So how would you reframe your voicemail for it's 6 months since they last spoke to us? What voicemail would you leave then?
Okay.
Hey Kelly, it's just Anthony from XYZ. It looks like you had inquired like 6 months ago about possibly getting some help finding a partner. Just wanted to reach out. Did you end up finding what you were looking for, or are you still looking for some help with that? Question mark. Send.
Love
Now,
it.
I would if you're sending a text message, this is a ninja hack, all right? I don't normally share this unless I'm consulting sales teams and businesses, but we love you guys. You've been here for 5
Please. Yes.
So when you're sending text messages, Kelly, in this day and age, people assume the text messages they're receiving are automated. Now, because of that, people don't respond to text messages as much these days either. Now, the longer your text message is, the higher chance they feel it's an automated text. So this is what you need to do to combat that, to significantly boost your response rate. This works during this scenario. It even works when you're confirming appointments. You want to send multiple messages. So I would say, hi, Kelly, it's just Anthony from XYZ. Just going through the database and saw you had inquired like 6 months back about trying to get some help finding a partner. Send. Did you find what you were looking for, or are you still looking? Send. I sent it in 2 separate messages because that's how people message. When you're messaging a friend, you don't do paragraphs, right? You say, hey, Kelly, send. Do you want to go, do you want to go to dinner? Send.
Yeah.
So that's how you need to communicate on text messages. Does that make sense?
Brilliant. Love it.
Okay. Perfect.
Marco, ready for the role play. Bring it.
No, let's go. So I'm calling you an outbound, right? It's not an inbound.
Yep.
Hey, is this Kelly?
Yeah. Who's this?
Hey, Kelly, this is just Marco here from X1Z. I noticed that a couple of months ago, and I might be off here, but I just wanted to check. You inquired through for possibly help you to find a partner for you. Have you found what you're looking for? Or you're still looking?
Oh God, no. Yeah. Well, I haven't found a partner and yeah, I haven't, I'm not working with a service if that's what you're
Okay.
asking.
No, I just wanted to make sure that you found the person that you really wanted to find. Now, I guess so that I know specifically what is that you're looking for, just for see for what we have might actually help you.
Well, I could go into a long-winded thing about the type of guy that I'm looking for, but I've been doing online dating and it just sucks. I mean, it's super frustrating. But to be honest, I haven't been dating at all. Like there's just a lot going on in my life right now, and so I'm just kind of taking a break.
Yeah, I totally understand. That's why I'm calling you, because primarily some people trying to, they get frustrated, they don't know what to do. And I'm not sure if what we do will actually help you, but I thought I would give you a call just for see if we could. Now, in terms of like, you told me that, of course, right now you're not dating, but what have you tried in the past though? Just so I understand.
Well, I try all the usual things, but I did online dating and just brutal. And honestly, I just don't even have the energy for it anymore. I mean, my mom just had a stroke, and literally, sidebar, this was a conversation earlier today. My mom just had a stroke, and I've been putting so much time into it. So
I
I'm
totally understand.
just, yeah.
Now, the question for you, what is the part about online dating that or you didn't really like about it? So I understand.
Okay, can I pause for a second there?
Yeah, of course.
This is where I get uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, I'm in this role because I'm a highly empathetic person, and to just keep shoving through
Yeah.
feels icky to me, because she just told me her mom had a stroke and that she doesn't have time for dating because she's doing, blah, 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 to take care of her mom. And I mean, is it just me? Is it just my self-limiting belief that I should stop and say, you know what, let's just talk in a month or so, like when things are a little have cooled off and you can really focus on your personal life? I mean, that's where my head goes to, is to accept the objective, that is like kind, nice, appropriate thing to do. But I'm losing sales because of it, but it feels
No, but
authentic to me.
Kelly, don't worry about losing the sales and don't worry about the money. Let's put something aside because what you say there makes a lot of sense. Okay. Because one thing is you're never going to lose in sales is your integrity or your moral value.
Right.
I don't want to do that. Now, it's the way you use your empathy, right? Changes a lot. For example, when you told me about the stroke about your mom, it's not that what I'm focusing there is to sell you something. What I'm focusing there is why you don't have a partner that can help you to go through this tough period. So my
Right, but
empathy,
you plowed through and kept asking me questions about my online dating, and you didn't even pause and give me empathy about, and like, I guess, and forgive me, Marco, I'm challenging here, but
yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to not say, hey, how you doing at the beginning of the call, but to just plow through and keep asking me questions and completely ignoring my major objection
Yeah.
makes me like, gives me sales resistance.
Okay, I explain you this, right? So when someone gives you like, oh, my family died, oh, my mom died, or something like that, generally, Kelly, right? For someone for manipulates you, we use that for manipulates you. Okay. I don't want to do that because I don't want to manipulate people on that weak part, which is they're just going through a death and it's something really, really sensitive to them. Okay. So
Right.
I don't want to make them feel that the conversation is all about me. Say, oh, yeah, you should have a partner and now you're by yourself and you lost your mom. No, that's not what it
Right.
is. Because what my brain is telling me is like, I feel bad, but I don't have to use that feeling towards this phone call. That's not ethical at all. So it's different because it's the way we are set. When I come inside the sales call, like right now, I am looking for help you out. But the help that I can give you is to finding a partner, right? It's
Right. But
not,
if I were to ask her in that moment, oh, I can't help but think, wouldn't it be great to have a partner by your side while you're going through this?
yeah,
That just feels bad to me.
exactly right.
It,
That's why I didn't do that. That's right.
okay. Okay.
That's why. That's exactly why I answer your question, right? And I told you
Yeah.
that I can't do that because that will be manipulation,
Yeah.
right? So,
Can I say something, Marco?
of course, go ahead.
Yeah, really appreciate you jumping on, Kelly. And I think the biggest thing here is uh, the biggest thing to know is you mentioned they're warmer leads or maybe they're age leads in a sense. What you got to understand is there was something going on in their life that made them inquire, whether it was today, 5 minutes ago, a year ago, 6 months ago. You have
Yes.
to believe that that person needs the help, regardless of what's happening. Because we could use the same example. If I'm selling life insurance, right? If something bad happened to
Yeah.
somebody yesterday, I still know that that person's going to be better off being protected. So you really need to look at your offer and say, okay, well, am I really going to help this person? Would them having a partner, and the answer may be no, right? But you got to answer that. Would them having a partner, would them having a spouse, would it put them in a better position in their life if they had that support with what's going on than if they didn't? And if the answer is yes, you're obligated to sell them. And that's what was there when they originally reached out. It's not about pushing something down their throat. I'm not saying, you said something before. You said, wouldn't it be better if you invested in this? I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say, well, first of all, I just want to say I'm really sorry to hear about your mother. It sounds like you're going through a bit right now, and I really want to be able to support you. So just to see if I could even help, like what is it about wanting to find a partner that is really important to you right now with everything that you're going through?
I think you guys are both so brilliant, and this is so helpful. And I just have a quick follow-up question.
Of course.
At what point or under what conditions do you guys think it's appropriate to pivot and hear their objection full on and acquiesce to it? To when, because there's sometimes is a moment in my calls where I keep asking questions and I keep drilling, and I feel like, oh my God, I'm crossing the line and I'm about to erode their trust. And like I did earlier today on a call with that woman with the stroke, I ended up saying, I got her to agree that this was, by my questions, I got her to agree that this was the right strategy. But now I agreed with her that now is not the right time. And we agreed to touch base again in a month. But by this training, I feel like I failed. But so my question to you is, at what point is that actually a success? Like, when do you decide, okay, I'm just going to say, you know what? I understand, like Cynthia earlier, at what point do you say, you know what? I hear you. You have to go pick up your son. No worries. Let's book an appointment for a week from now. Like, at what point do you back off? How do you read when you should keep going, and how do you read when you actually should allow a little bit of time?
Good question. I would do that in the moment that I understand that what I'm trying to help you with will cause you more harm than good. For example, in a relationship, right, or in selling matchmaking or selling relationship, right, in terms of like someone to find a partner, if you have a psychological issue on approaching a person and I don't have a psychological degree to help you, I'm not the right guy. You need a psychologist. So that's what I will back up, because I will put you in more harm than good. If you're coming from an abusive relationship and you're looking for help in terms of psychology around how to get out of there, I'm not your dude. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm doing
totally, but that kind of never happens, because we have coaching too that I could pivot to. But so you're kind of telling me I should never back off.
No, I don't know, because I don't know the scenario, Kelly. Right? I'm telling you, my rule in my brain is always, if what I have is what they need, and I really feel inside with integrity that is what they need, I will go for it, because I don't want people to give up on themselves. I really don't. I mean, sales is changing, and if I give up on people, we're done here. Like, people buy out of landing pages in 5 years. Now the problem is the way how you're saying things. So if you tell them by offending them, that's not good. And I'm saying you like it's you, right? Generally, people like, oh, you definitely need a relationship for get over the fact your mom is dead. That's unethical.
Yeah, no.
Right? But if I can tell you, it's like, hey, listen, I know that might be tough to go through a period where you lost your mom, and I really appreciate you sharing with that. Now, I want to show you a different perspective. Is what if you would have known how to find a partner and have someone close to you in this period? Wouldn't that be better? And if you say yes, then you are agreeing with me that I have to help you. But I haven't told you. I've asked you a question. You're in charge to say no, and then I'm out. If you allow me to challenge you, I will. If you don't, I will leave. But the challenge is not into do you have a partner? No, I know you don't, because otherwise you wouldn't have been inquiring for this. The challenge is why are you giving up? And if the giving up part is because you don't want to, that hey, oh fine, shake hands, friends like before.
Yeah, if you don't really want someone, then I can't help you.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
it's oh, you say that. If you don't really want someone, then I can't help you. But if you're giving yourself an excuse of why you don't want it, then I have to show you the excuse.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
Uh,
that's good.
Because, for example, if someone tells me, like before, you were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna froze my eggs," right? Okay, but what's the reason you're doing that, though?
Right.
Because there is
Yeah.
because otherwise you like, well, I'm never gonna have a family.
Yeah.
So
That's why I felt like I should keep pushing, but then I found myself feeling really icky. So what I'm hearing you say is that that's my issue. I need to kind of get over that because when I really do some introspection in my heart of hearts, I feel that I'm doing right by them.
yeah,
By
let me role play with you, Kelly. Let me role play with you, right? Let's get to the role play so you understand. And in the middle of the role play, pause me and ask me why am I doing what I'm doing?
Okay.
All right. So we're at to what is it you don't like about online dating? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll give you the typical. It's nobody there is serious. I can't find anybody of quality. I don't feel like it's just demoralizing because I can't find anybody that I think is somebody I'd like to date. And when I finally do, they just disappear.
And you know, finding the person that you want, how has that been impacting you if you don't mind asking you?
Well, it's just a time suck, honestly, because I'm sick and tired of devoting so many hours to this online stuff. Honestly, I'm getting to the point where I have a good life. I don't really need a man. I'm perfectly happy. You know, I build a good life for myself. So I don't
And
need a guy.
I totally understand that, right? And the perspective that I want to show you is that if you don't need a guy, then you won't find one. So the online dating will never work. But that's why I called you.
Well, I mean, I don't have to, I mean, I would like a guy. It's just that I don't
Okay.
need one. So if it's too painful of a process to get and find him, then it's not worth it. I only wanted to add value to my life, not be a distraction or detraction.
Totally. So let me ask you, why would you like a guy? So I understand it.
Well, it just sucks being alone and having everything on my own shoulders. It would be nice to have somebody to, you know, turn to when times get tough and to enjoy life's beauty. I've had some great relationships and it was wonderful. It added a lot to my life.
Okay. So can I share a different perspective, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Because you might like or not need, but in base of what you're saying is if it sucks to be alone, then isn't there a need to have someone else sharing the story of your life and make it into a family? It's always more like something that I like to do on the weekend. And the only reason why I'm telling
No,
you that is because if you like to go to the beach, then you can go to the beach. But if you need to go to work, then you need to go to work. So it's different motivation.
well, it is different motivation, and that's why I'm not willing to pay your fees. I think what you're charging is ridiculous. I don't need a man that badly.
Yeah, and listen, like what we do will actually maybe not work for you. So that's why I'm calling you. Because the most important things for me is not how much you pay for the product. It's really, do you need this product? But for us to understand if you need the product is can we help you? And the help doesn't come from what we have, but it comes from how much you want not staying by yourself for the rest of your life and being okay with it.
Yeah, so time out. So what you've just identified is where most of my questions have to go. That's why your whole idea of building the gap has resonated with me so much because I lose most of my sales because people aren't hungry enough for a relationship. and I have to kind of coax them through questions to get to a place where they realize that they actually are missing out on having the relationship. Because if somebody stays where I'm at with you right now, it's a dead end where they're like, yeah, you're right. I like it. I don't, I don't need it. So,
Yeah, but you know,
um,
you know what I'm doing, Kelly? I'm changing the way
yeah.
how you're seeing yourself. That's the
Mhm.
whole point, right? So when a prospect speaks to you and they say, "Oh, but I like to have a boyfriend, but I don't need it," and you ask you, "Okay, define what you mean by I like." Oh, well, it sucks to be alone by the rest of my life. That doesn't sound something that you might just like. It sounds like a need. So can I share a different perspective? Yes. Well, most of the times, the hard times, they start make you or they influence the way you're speaking with yourself. So you might need a relationship, but because you've been through a lot, respectfully, you might put it aside. That depends on you on how bad you want it, not on us. So you see how I'm putting myself out and say, depends on you, how much you really want it. And if you tell me, no, I don't want it, it's like, okay, I totally understand. So I don't want you to give up with you. I'll touch back with you in a week. That's when I take myself off. But you have to change the way how they speak with
Wait,
themselves.
say that again. That's where you pull yourself out.
Yeah,
Tell me more about that.
yeah, so this is interesting because that's psychology 101. Okay. So, most people, they tell you, I cannot do it. I cannot have a relationship. Or they tell you, oh, I don't want to. Right, Kelly?
Yeah.
That in psychology is called a condition. So you're conditioning to not do things. It's your brain that does it. So when someone asks you, can you pass me the salt? And you're like, I can't see it, but you haven't looked for it. Right? It's the same concept. Now, if you don't change the word can't to how can I, you can't, they won't see it because they are forcing themselves to not wanting to do it because they're conditioning. They're afraid. There is something inside they're afraid to even try. So they're speaking with
100%.
themselves in a derogatory way. Oh, but I can't have a relationship. It's a waste of time, and I'm spending all this time to find a boyfriend. Then what you do is like, can I just ask you a question? Yes. So you mentioned before that they will suck if you stay by the rest of your life together. Or you're saying now that it sucks to spend 30 minutes a day or an hour a day to learn how to find a partner. So you don't stay for the rest of your life by yourself. So would you agree with me to saying that the way you speak with yourself is not really where you want to go? You see, Kelly, what you're telling them is like, you're unrealistic. It takes a time
Mhm.
to learn that, right? But the first things is for me that I know that I can't really trust everything that you're saying because you're coming from a bad spot, which is you might have a relationship, might end up really bad, and you lost trust in humanity. It's fairly often, but that's why we sell is because we want to cut off procrastination. And I don't believe in that in terms of I don't believe into you giving up.
You know what I really love about what you've just done, Marco, is you've validated for me that it's okay for me to talk to my prospect and give opinions and give assessments. Because what I've heard in a lot of the other role plays, it's just this constant line of questioning without sort of chiming in and giving assessments.
Yeah.
And so I was starting to question whether or not I could, because that has traditionally been a huge part of my sales process, is to assess where they're at and give them my expertise. And what you've just done is do that. So I'm glad to know that that's as part of this program that's considered positive or acceptable or
Kelly,
helpful.
remember, that line of questioning that we teach before is a line of questioning which is linear, right? So what that means in sales that is, for example, you see before Cynthia was coming in, right? But the rebuttal that she was giving, which is normal, was more about on trying to get Anthony outside the phone, right? Which
Yeah.
is when you run those master classes, when you run those challenges, it's fairly normal that people want to see you. Oh, I want to hang up to this guy, right? Now,
Mhm.
the real rebuttal that someone gives you that are good when you role play is people having prospects where they want to do it, but they're insecure of doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm going off script a second, because the idea being that's my experience in sales tells me that I really need to understand what is that you're not, what is that you don't want to see, and what is that you're conditioned on. So you're conditioned on thinking that is too hard. And I
They have their
agree.
own self-limiting beliefs for why it
Exactly
won't
right.
work for them.
Exactly right. But if I let you believe that, then I'm not really a sales guy, I'm an order taker. I take the orders.
You have to break them through that so that they realize that they're the only ones holding themselves back.
Exactly right. And that's when a really good sales guy, or whatever you want to call it, is capable to understand, I understand. You have a self-limiting belief. And what you're saying is, I got so disappointed about meeting people that I lost the faith into finding a real partner.
Yep.
I don't,
And
I
that's the only reason the price is a problem, is they've lost the faith. Because when I flip it and say, well, what would you pay if you had a guarantee that you could meet your person? The answer is always priceless. So they
no,
just don't believe it's going to work.
no, but by doing that, you're giving them exactly what they want. You tell them, oh, there is a guarantee for us to find your partner. Let's say it's not, but let's say there is, right? You give them exactly what they don't need. What you have to tell them is like, there is no guarantee on this planet that you're ever going to find one partner. Beside the guarantee, the fact that you don't have to give up on it. And what I feel at the moment,
Ooh,
yeah,
that's golden. Oh my God.
you
We're
see,
$2,500 right there. Slam.
for
Thank you. Say
example,
that again. You
no,
don't have to believe you're going to meet your partner. You just have to not give up on it. I love that so much.
So the idea being is this: when someone gives you, I'm primarily like more objection handling driven. Like I love objections, right? Put it in this way, Kelly, right? When someone come to you, right, and he tell you, okay, but what's your guarantee? Like, for example, on NPQ 2.0, right now that you guys are into this, right? What's your guarantee? There's no guarantee. I ain't guarantee you anything. Besides the fact that I'm giving you something that you might need, and depends about the effort that you put in on going through, coming into this and ask me a question. I'm more effort you put in, you get where you want to go. You see, Kelly, for example, you bought it. I think you said you bought it, right?
I did.
And
Hell
you
yeah.
yeah, but you came in here because you still want to get trained. You asked me a question and now you got it. But if you would have gone like,
And I
oh,
posted it like 25 times to make you guys
exactly
see
right.
it. Yes, effort.
Exactly right. So the idea is when someone in a sales call tells you, I would do it just if it was guaranteed. Okay, but that's the problem. Because what you are saying to me indirectly, and I really care about you, and that's why I'm telling you this, is you're saying that you want the outcome, but you're not willing to do the work. But now let me ask you a question. If you're doing the outcome without doing the work, how would you learn what's the best partner for you? Because the work gets you to understand what's the best things that I can do, because you learn from your mistake. So, for example, in the role play that we done before, the next things that I was going to try to do is this one. Is Kelly, it's really normal that you went through online dating and it didn't work. It's really normal, because what that is showing you is not really how you're giving up on it, but it's showing you what do you need to learn next. Because every time that you fail on it, you will learn what's the next best things that I can do for finding a partner, or either what is the next partner needs to have. So you're teaching them, but you're teaching them in a way where you're selling them, which is part of ethical selling. You're not lying to them, you're telling them the truth.
This has been so helpful, and thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope it's applicable to other coaches and fitness and other people in other industries, because I know there aren't many matchmakers on here. But thank you both so much, you guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kelly. Okay, that was good. Really good questions coming through, everybody. Thank you, Kelly, for asking that. The biggest thing as well is, Kelly got started. So good on you for getting started with NPQ 2.0. It's not something you're going to learn overnight. As in, yes, you're going to learn some questions you can ask. Yes, you're going to learn some tonality. It's something you just got to go through over and over and over again. And it just becomes you. Like a lot of the role plays you saw me and Marco do today, it's not something we've got memorized and the scripts are in our head and we're just kind of reading the script. It's NEPQ has just become who we are. So that's why you can throw hard situations at us. That's why we're okay with, I'm not sure if other people do this, but me and Marco are okay with, hey, let's role play. Give me a tough situation. And we're okay with doing it because we just know our process and we're confident in ourselves. Okay. Who here got a lot of value out of today? Day 5. Appreciate you guys for being here the past 5 days. We've been going hard. We're not slowing down. If anyone's in VIP or those that purchase NEPQ 2.0 before Sunday midnight. So let me explain the deadline because there's a bit of confusion. So Sunday midnight, meaning 12:01 a.m. Monday. So as soon as the clock hits 12 o'clock, Sunday turns into Monday. That's when the deal ends. So Sunday to Monday, that's when the deal ends. And that's midnight PST. We do have a funding application to see if you're eligible to go through funding. Just fill out that application that the team posts below. You're not applying for funding. You're seeing if you qualify for funding. And then if you do, you're going to be able to speak to our funding managers who can then take you through the funding process. Okay, we do have payment plans available as well. You can use PayPal and all of that good stuff. So if you want more training like this, if you feel like this would be helpful for you to make more sales, so you stop winging it, stop trying to figure it out yourself or taking all the crumbs that are online and trying to piece it together yourself. If you want to stop doing that, we'd be more than happy to train you over the next 12 months in the training portal and then the next 90 days with the coaching sessions. That's getnepq.com. There are more details on that link with what you get as well. How do you rewatch? You'll get the email sent to you. Just keep in mind the emails will all be deleted as well midnight tomorrow night once the deal ends. So it is a container. So if you want to watch any of the replays, you're going to have to make sure you watch them. Probably spend your Sunday watching replays. Unless you purchase, then you get all the replays, of course, or unless you're VIP, you'll have access to the replays. Yes, Andrew, VIP does get the replays. How do I implement it in timeshare? We train a lot of people in timeshare. It's the exact same process. A lot of people in timeshare are very pushy. I remember one of our clients, Robin Chin, he got started, who I actually helped him get started maybe 2-3 years ago. And there's an interview of Jeremy and him going through some questions we helped him ask. And within, I think, 14 days, I could be butchering that, but within 14 days, he closed his biggest timeshare deal ever after getting started with NEPQ. Doesn't mean you will be able to do that. Once again, disclaimer, but we gave him the opportunity to do that. Okay? Please let me know below what's your biggest takeaway. Down below, out of today, day 5, what has been your biggest takeaway? We took you through what? We took you through script examples. We did live role plays. You saw NEPQ in action, and we went a lot more granular with some of the questions that you had asked, so you get a better understanding of it. Best day yet. Really appreciate that. Biggest takeaways below. It works no matter what you're selling. It does, unless it's, well, underwater basket weaving is not proven yet.
Yeah.
So that's probably one of the industries we haven't trained yet. Biggest takeaway is how to get over the feeling of losing integrity. Being conversational, being willing to change, being willing to evolve. This is the best day so far. Well done, guys.
Can I ask a question to Juan? Juan Guardado, what internet inbound is not an industry. Tell me a little bit more. I have no idea what you mean by. All right, perfect. Well, good. Let me see if you answer because I want to make sure that maybe I can give him something or I can help him out with something. But oh, good, perfect. All right, perfect.
Okay. Now, VIP, day 6, same time, 6 p.m. EST. We're giving you guys a day off tomorrow. So VIP and anybody that purchases NEPQ 2.0 before the deadline, we're going to invite you to day 6 where, Marco, is that me and you? Like,
Me, yeah.
want? They want us again?
Yes. The VIP, we prepare, I prepare like something around objection handling, which is going to be really, really, I mean, of course, I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid, but I give you a glance, I give you a glance of it. If I can find it, give me a sec.
Yeah. VIP closed everybody day 2. So we're supposed to close day 1. We extended it another day. If you guys were here from the start, you would know that. So VIP is shut. You can't join VIP. If you want to join the day 6 session, it's an objection handling masterclass. You can do that by getting into NEPQ 2.0 if you haven't already.
Yeah, which is pretty much some of the stuff I was explaining to Kelly before, which is smoke screen, how objection only works, the step-by-step of objection handling, and all that stuff. So that's for the day 6. So looking forward to it.
Perfect. Marco, been a pleasure. Looking forward to day 6. Good to see everyone got a bit of value. Anything you want to say, Marco, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I actually do. I really appreciate everybody. As I told you, our mission is to change the way how people perceive sales. I think it's really important for us putting this event together. I really appreciate the entire team, Balint with the ops team, Ben, Blake with the marketing team, Anthony, you and David with your sales teams, and everyone. I feel like we did a good job. I feel today we gave you something, help us out spread, the new sales, the new way of selling. So you can share the content of Jeremy and follow us on IG. So that's all I had to say, Anthony. Pass you back to you.
Perfect. Couple more questions. Let me just answer. VIP replays are in your VIP portal. So your VIP portal, you had login sent to you after purchasing VIP. It's closed. No more VIP, guys. So VIP shut 3 days ago. But VIP buyers and NEPQ 2.0 clients, you will be invited to day 6. Now, if you do purchase NEPQ 2.0, really important, you're going to be sent your logins. Once you log in, there's our training agreement you must authorize. So you won't be able to access the training until you authorize the agreement. Okay, really important. Your training agreement and logins will be sent to you typically within, I would say, 5 hours or so. Now it's probably like midnight or something like that in the US right now. So just check in the morning if you get started now. If you need any further help, you can email support@seventhlevelhqteam.com, but the inbox is quite flooded. We've got team working 24 hours on the clock on that. Please just check your spam, promotions, junk. I think Gmail's got like 40 different junk, spam, trash, bin, all of those spam folders and all that first for your logins. Let me just see if there's anything else. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, guys. Enjoy your Saturday night or Sunday if you're in Australia. Have a day off tomorrow, and we'll see everybody that's in VIP or 2.0 day 6. I'm looking forward to it, and we really appreciate you guys all being here. That's all from us.
Yeah, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.